to happen again, John.
He's on ESPN2 right now.
Thanks for dropping in on the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl with the West Pointers having a shot at a winning season and another big step in Army's resurgence. SMU's turnaround also continues with the Mustangs poised to win bowls in back-to-back seasons.
You're watching ESPN's presentation of Capital One Bowl Week.
Welcome to ESPN College Football and Capital One Bowl Week with the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl. And the F-16 flyover getting us set for kickoff between Army and SMU. And welcome to the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl. Beth Mullins along with former Buffalo Bill linebacker Ray Bentley. And Ray, both of these programs enjoying success for the first time in a long time. It's been 25 years since the Cadets have won a bowl. And for SMU, their best days since the Pony Express was running wild. And they're both doing it in very different ways.
Yeah, you have two exotic offenses here, which both rely heavily on the quarterback. We'll start with SMU, Kyle Padron. I think he's a work in progress a little bit. He has the physical tools. He's beginning to blossom, but he needs to throw the deep ball good today. I think that's going to be open for him. Now for Army, Trent Steelman is their quarterback. This guy's an unbelievable ball handler, makes great decisions in their triple option. You see him giving it to the fullback here. He also is very quick-handed with the pitch, gets it out there. And then Steelman is a big-time threat when he decides to tuck it down and run with the football, as you see here. So big game between these two. I think a lot of it comes down to the quarterbacks, Beth.
SMU will be wearing black jerseys today. And the reason why is to honor their opponent. And, of course, black, a major color in the Army color scheme. And so the SMU Mustangs decided that they would pay tribute to the men and women serving their country as well as their opponents today for their service. Rich Ellerson in his second season at West Point, engineering this turnaround. They've talked about getting on the verge. We are where we want to be, but we don't yet have what we wanted to get at the start of the season, and that is a win in a bowl game and their first winning season in 15 years.
And it's been impressive, the turnaround that Rich Ellerson has made happen at West Point. And they do it, like I said, with that exotic triple option offense. And they also are a little different on defense. They run what's called the double eagle flex. We'll see how that matches up against the run and shoot here early on.
SMU has won the toss. They will receive. Matt Campbell handling the kickoff for Army. Kenneth Acker and Chris Butler, the deep men for the Mustangs. Through the end zone for the touchback, and SMU will start it out on their own 20-yard line. They are trying to shake off the effects of their loss in the Conference USA Championship game. A tough outing for Kyle Padron against UCF in what has been a season of highs and lows for the young quarterback.
Yeah, like I said, a work in progress. In fact, you'll see him between plays come over and talk to head coach June Jones, who also calls the plays. And Coach Jones is giving him a quick tutorial between every play before he gives the next play. So that's really helped as far as the maturation process of Kyle Padron.
They really love the potential of the 6'4" sophomore from South Lake Carroll High School here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Zach Line in the backfield with him. 4 wideouts in the run and shoot for SMU, and they are going deep early. And it's caught at the 35-yard line. The long strike to Aldrich Robinson, one of their favorite targets downfield.
When I coach quarterbacks, Beth, one of the main things I tell them is never overthrow the deep ball. And here's a perfect reason why right here. You can see Robinson is looking back for the ball. Richard King is not until it's too late. And good things happen. If you overthrow it, you're never going to have any good thing happen. You're not going to let your guy make a play. Robinson made a play on the football.
45 yards on the first play of the game and a first down at the Army 35. A big key today for Army will be how they will handle the deep throws. This time it's underneath to Cole Beasley, his favorite target, with 84 catches on the year, a pickup of 6. Let's check out the impact players when SMU has the ball.
We already saw Aldrich Robinson make that long catch. This guy is a very legitimate deep threat. And then Zach Line is the fullback in this offense. You can see the yards there, 1,300 plus. He does a great job. And then for West Point, Steve Erzinger is the guy today that's going to have to play out in space against this run and shoot, and a lot of the underneath coverages. We'll keep an eye on his progress.
Padron trying to duck away from the rush. Ball is loose on the carpet. It's scooped up by Josh McNary to the 20, the 10. He's going to take it all the way for the Army touchdown. Zach Watts knocked it loose, and McNary, the Texas native, takes it to the house.
Well, what a great way to start this ball game for the Army defense. You see the pressure up top right there, and it looked like Padron lost it just trying to put it away, and then McNary gets the fortuitous bounce, and he's off to the races. Gets a little help with a late block from Steven Anderson. But Army, in order to be competitive in this game, in my opinion, has to win the turnover battle and score on defense. Check those two things off right now.
55 yards for the captain and former walk-on, Alex Carlton, with the extra point and a 7-0 lead for SMU. Let's send it down to the field now, and John Berger.
I talked to SMU head coach June Jones earlier, right before the ball game started. He told me, look, we got to get the ball downfield. We got to get it vertical. You saw an example of that to Aldrich Robinson in the first series. It's interesting. You saw the big play from Army. I talked to Josh McNary yesterday from the state of Texas. I said, Josh, what is it going to take to beat SMU with all those skill players? He said, look, we got to create some turnovers. And that's up to me and my buddies up front at the point of attack. And you saw it right there.
Thank you very much, John. A 7-0 Army lead as the defense gets the score. And let's take a look at Josh McNary, a young man who hadn't even planned on playing football in college. Army started recruiting him late in his senior year. It wasn't until the spring that they said, hey, why don't you come to West Point? And McNary scuttlebutted his previous plans to go elsewhere and said, all right, maybe I'll try and play 4 more years.
Yeah, and he has been an outstanding addition to the Black Knights. Their leader in career tackles for loss and career sacks with 27.5. He's their big play guy on defense, and he proved it in that first series.
Go.
Campbell's kickoff, fielded by Kenneth Acker inside his 5. Following a couple blockers to the 29-yard line. Return of 27 on the kick. Erzinger had the tackle. As Padron is set to head back out, let's take a look at our Bell helicopter keys to victory.
Well, hit the long ball, and they already did that on that first play. Padron hit Robinson on it. They also have to stop the dive. That's the key to stopping an option offense. Make them get to the perimeter and then get up to speed. When you go against an option offense scout team in preparation, it's never as fast as what you're going to see on the field. When they do get on defense, they're going to have to adjust to the speed of the Army option as quickly as possible.
Padron, they give to Zach Lyon, the leading rusher in Conference USA this year, and he barely is able to pull his way back to the line of scrimmage. Jarrett Mackey, the 6'2 sophomore from Snellville, Georgia, on the stop, along with Donovan Travis coming up from the secondary.
June Jones has run the football more this year than you would expect out of a run and shoot type offense, and part of the reason is because Zach Lyon has done such an outstanding job, and also, you know, trying to grow his quarterback Kyle Padron. Being able to run the ball takes a little bit of pressure off of him.
Couple wides to the near side. In this run and shoot offense, they'll often keep the receivers on the same side of the field from play to play as Line picks up 3. Let's take a look at our Bell helicopter keys to victory now for the West Pointers.
And the big thing they have to do is stop the long ball. You know, that's what SMU is going to try to do. So they got to keep it in front of them, win the turnover battle, which they just did in that first drive, coming up with points, and then get pressure on Kyle Padron. Don't let him sit back there and get comfortable. In fact, when we talk to the cadets, that's the thing that all of them emphasize, getting pressure, getting hits on the quarterback.
Padron on third down. Incomplete, intended for Keenan Holman. Antoine Aaron, a Dallas native, on the coverage. And the punt unit out there for SMU. They have been a very slow starting team this year. They haven't fared all that well in first quarters. In fact, they barely touched the ball in the Conference USA Championship game in the first quarter.
Give the Army defense credit. Not only did they force a turnover and score themselves on the first series, second one's a 3-and-out. Fake punt.
Zemansky's going to keep it, and he will pick up the first down and more into Army territory. Out at the 40-yard line with a flag down at midfield.
Boy, and they caught West Point totally off guard in this one. There is nobody spying on the kicker. Nobody keeps contained on the outside.
32 yards on the fake.
And I'm not sure if this is something Szymanski just decided to do because he saw what happened as far as the cadets releasing. But look on the left side. As they release, there's nobody that stays home to take that away. That might have just been the punter being heads up and being aware of that. And when he sees it, he goes.
Offense, 10-yard penalty, first down.
I believe that's going to be Taylor Reed right at the tail end of the play. But SMU will keep possession, and Matt Szymanski, who had been nursing a groin injury after the Conference USA Championship game, looked fine on that run. He will handle both the punting and the kicking duties today. The highlight of his season right there.
I think when you have 3 weeks to prepare, as they did in this situation, you can find little things like that and take advantage of them. And give June Jones and his staff credit. They definitely pulled a rabbit out of the hat on that one.
Zach Line offset in the backfield. Padron scrambling out of the pocket. He's got a man wide open inside the 40, and the catch is made by Darius Johnson, the sophomore out of Missouri City, Texas. 23-yard gain and a first down.
This is a nice job of Padron and Johnson being on the same page. Padron's going to escape and break, contain, and then once Johnson sees it, he comes back to his quarterback exactly how you're supposed to in a scramble drill. And Padron hit him, put down by Johnson.
One of 3 receivers with over 60 catches in the run and shoot offense. And a whistle at the snap. I think Army may have called a timeout before the play.
Previous play has been challenged by Army.
They're going to challenge that last catch along the sideline. A 7-0 lead for Army here in the first quarter.
Welcome to the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl. It is our honor and privilege to sponsor this great event. Bell Helicopter and the Textron family of companies have a long history of supporting our military. And today's game is dedicated to those men and women who have served our armed forces in the past and who are serving today around the world. Thank you all, and enjoy the game.
Little Fuckers is the #1 movie in America.
That's great.
Way to go.
Can I go climb that big rock wall?
Yeah, okay, just be careful, buddy.
And a double dose of fun.
Double dose.
Little Fuckers. Rated PG-13. Now playing.
Are you ready for your talk, sir?
Just going over how Geico helps people save in even more ways. With good driver discounts, multi-car discounts, defensive driver discounts.
You! Oh, don't act like you don't recognize me. Toledo? 03?
No, it's...
It's too late, Stanley.
Actually, miss, my name's not Stanley.
Oh. Oh, I am so sorry. From behind you look just like him. I'm just...
Well, I'd hate to be Stanley.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15%.
Hi, just wanted to let you know that military personnel can pre-board at the gate.
Passengers and our uniformed military personnel to board at this time.
To those who put our country first, we're honored to do the same for you.
Many will hear the calling.
Move it! Yes, sir!
Few will earn the title United States Marine. The few, the proud Marines.
College football in high definition is presented by Vizio.
Welcome back to the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl here at Gerald Ford Stadium in Dallas-Fort Worth. Army with the defensive touchdown and a 7-0 lead, and after a fake punt and a first down for SMU, they're on the move. Padron, the draw to Zach Line, inside the 30, the cutback to the 24. Pickup of 12 on the play, down to John Berger.
Beth, on that last play, Army safety Donovan Travis was pleading his case. He was involved in the play. He thought the SMU player came out of bounds with the catch, and he walked over to the sideline and was pleading with his coaches, please take a timeout and challenge this thing. He won out on that case. Nevertheless, was calling the field stands, and it's SMU ball.
Whoops. Yeah. You know what? When you make that case to the coach, you kind of want to be right, because he won't trust you the next time.
Little extra KP, I think, when they get back to West Point, as the challenge did not work for Army. Padron again under intense heat, able to scramble back near the line of scrimmage. Mike Gann, the senior from Roswell, Georgia, was leading the charge. A couple of yards on the pickup. Gann, the two-year starter who's overcome a knee injury. His dad, Mike, played in the NFL after a college career with the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame.
Great coverage down the field on that last play, and that's where Army has been susceptible a little bit. Question marks in the secondary. They covered it up real nice on that last play.
2nd and 8. Line again on the delay. Ducks inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. Marcus Hilton, the senior from the Bronx, trying to put some pressure on. A pickup of 4. 3rd and short coming up as McNary heads off to the sideline. His 55-yard fumble recovery and return for a touchdown, the difference on the scoreboard here today. And our first of 4 bowl games coming your way on the ESPN family of networks today. 9th play of the drive here for SMU. Padron across the middle, dropped at the 6-yard line. And what would have been a first down, Cole Beasley unable to hang on.
Beasley is usually very sure-handed as a receiver. Leads this team with 84 catches. Just a little slant route with the pressure, the blitz coming. Delivered perfectly on time by Padron. And Beasley, he's going to have to explain something to his quarterback, who also took a shot after he let that ball go.
35-yard attempt from Zemansky. Missed it.
It is windy out there, and I don't know that it affected it that much, but definitely a missed opportunity by SMU.
A 10-play drive, but they come up with nothing. A 7-0 Army lead. And the Cadets will take back over at their own 20-yard line.
And we get to see some option football.
How about that? Our first look at the Army offense. And Trent Steelman, the 6-foot sophomore from Bowling Green, Kentucky, started every game of his 2-year career. Triple option. And how about that? They're going to throw on their first play, and it's dropped by Austin Barr.
Start out with a little 3-step drop, little hitch route out there, and Barr's got to get that one. I mean, Army doesn't throw the football that much, and when they do, they need to take advantage of it. Pretty good throw on the 3-step by Steelman. hit his man bar right in the hands. He just couldn't grab it.
Cadets are at 6-6 coming in their first bowl game in 15 years. And it's Patrick Mealy getting to the outside. He's got the edge, the first down across the 40. 22 yards.
The Army's going to pull two. Watch the bottom, the offensive lineman right there. And the big one is Mersey, who finishes up the block off on Fleps, who ends up finally getting close to the tackle. But nice misdirection there. And SMU definitely a step behind on that one.
The senior out of DeMatha High School in Hyattsville, Maryland, another one of the Army captains. Up the gut to their fullback, Jared Hassan. Taylor Reed, the leading tackler for SMU on the season, makes the stop.
Hassan's a good story. You know, his father is a West Point graduate, his sister as well, and he ended up starting out at Air Force and then realized that wasn't for him, took a year off, came back, and now he's where he was supposed to be with the Army.
65 yards away from a 1,000-yard rushing season, and the pass caught by David Brooks. First-year starter picks up 8 yards. Richard Crawford with the coverage. Another Army first down. So a couple airstrikes already here.
Yeah, excuse me, Beth, but I think Brooks is their top receiver. He's the biggest threat. Little misdirection, bootleg, crossing route, real easy to throw, wide open. The Army offense looking pretty good here early on.
Another get to Hassan. Burrows his way inside the 40, a pickup of 6. The Army rushing attack last year, 203 yards a game, 13 touchdowns. This year, 256 yards a game and 33 touchdowns, and his addition a big reason why.
Yeah, no doubt about it. When you run the triple option, you have to have a stud in that fullback position, and that's exactly what Jared Hassan has been.
Brown in motion, back to his original spot on second down. Steelman looking to throw again, incomplete. And a flag coming in late on the coverage from Chris Banjo.
Banjo never got his head turned around, I think is going to be his issue as far as why he got this penalty. Mealy just running a wheel route out of the backfield.
Defense number 23. First down, spot of the foul.
So right at the end there, he got the hand on Mealy before the ball got there and never turned his head back around until it was too late.
That will move Army further downfield. First and 10 from the 24-yard line. Their defense has already scored, and now the offense on the move. Trying to get to the edge again, inside the 20-yard line. Brian Cobbs, the sophomore out of St. Charles, Missouri.
Nice little jet sweep type play, and again, Army does a nice job of blocking this thing. You see the tackle there, Mersey pulling again and then trying to cut block down the field. That's what Army does on the perimeter. They'll throw down at your legs. That becomes kind of maddening to a defender after a while.
Up the middle to Mealy on the play. SMU, by the way, has seen the triple option this year. They lost to Navy and gave up 253 yards on the ground, but it was close right to the finish. In particular, Ray, they really struggled with the pitch and defending the edge.
And that's where you want the option to end up. You want to take away the fullback first and really try to force a quick pitch. Turns it into basically a toss sweep, which most defenses will tell you they can stop.
There's the pitch. Terrific block from Mersey to spring him into the end zone. And the touchdown from Malcolm Brown. 13 yards, getting the corner. And Army off to the quick start.
This is just great operation by the quarterback, Steelman. You see him get the pitch out, perfect timing, and then the blocking down the field. Austin Barr did a great job finishing off at the end there to create enough room for the touchdown for Brown.
Alex Carlton, the junior from Wilmington, Delaware, and it's blocked. SMU has been very good at blocking kicks this year, and 6'8" Margus Hunt from Estonia. Only been playing football a couple years, but he can get up. Still 13-zip Army as Brown takes it to town.
Brain teaser. How can Expedia now save me even more on my hotel? Well, hotels know they can't fill every room every day, like this one, and this one, and oops, my bad. So they give Expedia ginormous discounts with these unpublished rates, which means I get an even more rockin' hotel for less. My brain didn't even break a sweat. Where you book matters. Expedia.
Nissan's year-end event is almost over. Through January 3rd, get up to an additional $750 holiday bonus cash on capability and quality. Now, with bonus cash, get up to $4,750 off Titan, or get 0% plus $500 bonus cash on Altima. Visit ChooseNissan.com or see your local Nissan dealer today. Hurry, holiday bonus cash ends January 3rd.
There's a familiar face looking on.
Lieutenant Dan.
Actor Gary Sinise. He's here with the Lieutenant Dan Band. They're going to be performing after the bowl game. He is a big proponent and fundraiser for the troops.
He got magic legs.
Now John Berger will be chatting with him momentarily as Army gets set to kick off here at the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl. It's been all military so far. A touchdown for the offense and for the defense. Backer again after the bobble. Gets back out to the 20 after the 17-yard return. Let's check in with John Berger and his guest.
Yeah, I'm here with Gary Sinise. Gary, talk to me a little bit about being the national spokesman for American Veterans Disabled for Life. Tell us about this organization.
The American Veterans Disabled for Life Memorial Foundation is building a national memorial in Washington, D.C. to honor all our disabled veterans. We have over 3 million living disabled veterans right now. There's nothing that has ever paid tribute to the sacrifices of these men and women who have, lost a lot in service to our country. So we're building a national memorial in Washington, D.C. to honor them. And you can go to the American Veterans Disabled for Life Memorial Foundation website to find out more about it.
Now, I'm holding a ticket for the Lieutenant Dan band after the game here. What are we going to see?
Well, I have a band.
On the carry for SMU.
It's named after the character I played in Forrest Gump, because whenever I go out and visit the troops, and I do that a lot, they're always calling me Lieutenant Dan. So when I started taking musicians with me on these various USO tours and military tours, I just decided to call it the Lieutenant Dan Band, and we go all over the world, and we've played on bases, many bases overseas and here in this country to just show our support and to give the troops and their families a good time.
Now, I had heard you'd raised over $1 million in one night in conjunction with Golden Corral. Is that true?
Well, Golden Corral Restaurants does a wonderful thing every year called Military Appreciation Monday, right around Veterans Day, and they serve anybody who served in the military, a veteran, can go to Golden Corral and eat for free that day and make donations. So they raised about over $1 million this year for the Disabled American Veterans Organization. Great organization.
Yeah, I appreciate you stopping by. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. 32 yards on the catch. Darius Johnson hauling it in. SMU had a 10-play drive earlier in the game, but the missed field goal at the tail end of that, not allowing them to put any points on the board, but Kyle Padron trying to get them rolling again here. The sophomore quarterback from nearby South Lake, Texas. They've been in this position before. They have been a slow-starting team this year. And the ball pops loose again. They've already lost one fumble that Army returned for a touchdown. An Army player has come out of the pack with it. Defensive back Jordan Trimble has possession. Will that be 9/10 of the law?
Well, Aldrich Robinson is going to spit this one up. Here he is at the top of the screen. You see a little comeback route. Going to run a quick screen out there. He doesn't put the ball away very good, and it gets knocked out by Christopher Swain.
In SMU possession, second down.
All right. SMU fortunate on that one, because usually when a guy comes out of the pile with the ball, it's his team's ball. Here's another look at it. Right there, Swain knocks it out. And you must have had right there an immediate recovery. It looked like Darius Johnson got on top of that thing. And Tremble ended up taking it away from him, but not before they ruled it down. Fortunate for Robinson and SMU.
Robinson goes out wide to the left. He's got a touchdown catch in 7 consecutive games coming in. 2nd and 6. More struggles with the football for SMU. Zach Watts, the sophomore from Pittsburgh, able to wrap up Padron.
That's the second time we've seen Padron have to struggle for the snap. The snap's coming up high from his center, Blake McJunkin, and that one, very fortunate, didn't go over his head and go past him. He saw a line. I think he was going to be part of that play until he saw the ball being batted up in the air.
Anderson trying to blitz up the middle. They get it. Padron with some running room. And a first down. Dive into the 22-yard line. Picking up 8. Tackled by Donovan Travis.
Great recognition by Padron. Sees man-to-man coverage in the secondary. So he knows as soon as he scrambles past the first wave of cadets, he's pretty much out in open field, and he brings it down and picks himself up a touchdown on the year. He was run for 4 touchdowns and 254 yards, so he does give you a little something with his legs.
He's thrown 29 touchdown passes this year, the 9th best total in FBS play. He's also run for 4 scores. Intercepted at the 15-yard line by Anderson. The senior from Maryland with his 2nd pick of the year. And it's now 2-0 Army in the turnover battle.
One of the things that Kyle Padron does is stare down where he's throwing. You see right from the snap, the whole time he is looking at that slant route. All Steven Anderson has to do is read his eyes, which we saw him do. Break in front, make a play, and the Cadets in business with a 13-0 lead.
The 2011 Under Armour High School All-America game, Wednesday at 7 on ESPN.
Nissan's year-end event is almost over. Through January 3rd, get up to an additional $750 holiday bonus cash on capability and quality. Now, with bonus cash, get up to $47.50 off Titan, or get 0% plus $500 bonus cash on Altima. Visit ChooseNissan.com or see your local Nissan dealer today. Hurry, holiday bonus cash ends January 3rd.
The head ball coach leads the Gamecocks against his old rivals, Florida State. Capital One Bowl Week continues with the Chick-fil-A Bowl. South Carolina, Florida State, Friday at 7:30 on ESPN. College football lives here.
Now you can take your TV everywhere, your shows anywhere, your movies anytime. Only Dish lets you watch all your channels, everything on your DVR, everywhere you go for no additional charge. Sports, local news, movies, live and recorded. Watch your TV everywhere, on your computer, iPhone, iPad, Android, BlackBerry. Just upgrade your equipment and your service is free. Everywhere.
Take your home TV everywhere.
Challenger seeking validation against a champion seeking revenge. The best lightweight in the world, Frankie Edgar, attempts to avenge his only loss against his biggest threat, undefeated Gray Maynard, who will stop at nothing to obtain the coveted lightweight title. And one of the most exciting fighters to ever set foot in the octagon, Chris Lieben, takes on former WEC light heavyweight champion, All-American Brian Stann. Tequila Cazadores presents UFC 125 Resolution, live January 1st, only on pay-per-view.
ESPN College Football, the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl, is brought to you by Bell Helicopter, proud to serve those who serve. Expedia, the best travel tools are all in one place. Where you book matters. Expedia. And Discover, it pays to discover, official card of the Bowl Championship Series.
The pregame landing of the Cobra, and right there the Huey here at Gerald Ford Stadium in Dallas-Fort Worth. It's the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl, an Army with an offensive touchdown and a defensive score. A 13-0 lead over SMU after the Mustangs blocked an extra point.
I love a woman who knows her military hardware.
We got a lot of military hardware to talk about today. And a terrific day. One of the reasons why SMU is wearing the black jerseys today. That's to honor all the men and women in the military, as well as their opponents on the other side of the field today. Wanted to honor the men and women at West Point, as well as those serving overseas around the country. Of course, a heavy military presence in the great state of Texas. Some of the cadets making their way to the game today. A lot of room up the middle for Jared Hassan. 12 yards and a first down for Army. Their scoring drive covered 8 plays and 80 yards on their first offensive possession.
Just a quick trap here, and they caught Marcus Hunt rushing upfield. They made a nice, easy little block there, and the Army offensive line doing a nice job here early on.
Hassan getting close to a 1,000-yard season. He would be just the second sophomore to do that. Have to go back to Mike Mayweather back in 1988. The last sophomore to rush for over 1,000. You talked about him starting out at the Air Force Academy, then left there, had to sit out, took some time off to go to junior college, spent his free time coaching at his old high school, football, wrestling, and the track team. Hadn't picked up a ball since 2007 before he arrived in the fall.
Right, and also told us he has never played with his hand in the ground. And you see that fullback, he's got a nice little three-point stance there with a lot of forward lean so he can take the ball.
The pitch stuffed. Back inside the 40-yard line, Chris Banjo, their big leader on the defensive unit with the pop. Loss of 6.
Great read by Banjo. He's got quarterback to pitch is kind of his look, and it was a quick pitch forced by the penetration, and he just lit it right up.
End of the first quarter here at the Armed Forces Bowl and a 13-0 Army lead.
Duty, honor, integrity. The values that guard our freedoms at home and abroad. The same values that drive the men and women of Armed Forces Insurance to protect those who protect our nation. Visit AFI.org for a no-obligation quote. Armed Forces Insurance. Our mission is you.
Excuse me. Your change. It's nice to know you can trust people. State Farm is counting on it. They want you to talk to your neighbors, then call a State Farm agent, find out how you can get discounts up to 40%. See, State Farm insures 40 million drivers. That's more than Geico and Progressive combined. 40 million drivers, more savings, and discounts up to 40%. So call an agent at 1-800-STATE-FARM or go online.
That's right. It's a beefy crunch burrito. And yes, it's loaded with flamin' hot Fritos chips because I don't like playing it safe. I'm a wild man, but also responsible because it's just 99 cents. So why don't you turn around one more time? I dare ya. Oh boy, now what? The new 99-cent beefy crunch burrito. The crunch of flamin' hot Fritos chips, seasoned beef, and nacho cheese sauce. All for just 99 cents at Taco Bell.
Nissan's year-end event is almost over. Through January 3rd, get up to an additional $750 holiday bonus cash on capability and quality. Now, with bonus cash, get up to $47.50 off Titan or get 0% plus $500 bonus cash on Altima. Visit ChooseNissan.com or see your local Nissan dealer today. Hurry, holiday bonus cash ends January 3rd.
Every day, thousands of people are switching from Tylenol to Advil. To learn more and get your special offer, go to takeadvil.com. Take action. Take Advil.
Ronnie, I love you.
Ronnie was finally ready to settle down.
So listen, I'm going to ask her to marry me.
Yes! Until he discovered something a little unsettling.
I just saw my best friend's wife with another man.
Now, the more he tries to make things right,
I need to know what's going on. There's something that I have to fix.
the more complicated it gets.
You're gonna shoot me? I'm right here on your stupid little prison for that. What if you're in the house? I've Googled this. Come on inside.
The Dilemma, rated PG-13.
The Tostitos BCS National Championship game, January 10th on ESPN.
This January, ESPN is your new home for the Bowl Championship Series.
The Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl. And that placard indeed says it all. Honoring all the men and women of the military here today. Heard from Gary Sinise and the Lieutenant Dan Band earlier. A lot of the cadets amongst the standing room only crowd. And Army with the ball in a 13-point lead as we start the second quarter, and Steelman on the run. Pushed out right near the marker, and he's got the yardage, 14 on the pickup. Let's take a look at our Dodge Ram Trucks drive recap.
Previous drive for the cadets, little counter play where Patrick Mealy gets a nice chunk of yardage. Then they get down to the goal line. It's the pitch on the option to Malcolm Brown. And the Army offense gets on the board to go along with their defense. The extra point block, that got us to this 13-0 tally at this point.
The first score, Josh McNary scooping up the fumble and rumbling 55 yards with it. Something we don't usually see is an opponent, in this case SMU, that actually has more time of possession through the first quarter of play, because the defense came up big for Army. They really only had the 2 possessions.
Yeah, and I want to go back to that third down where Steelman scrambled for the first down on the cutback. That's what he does so well. He's got great vision and he's got excellent acceleration. You got to you basically have to cover the whole field when you're going against him, or he'll find that open spot.
They call him their point guard at quarterback. As he is pushed forward to Jared Hassan. Close to the marker once again.
Hassan did a nice job getting yards after contact in there. That's what you want your fullback in the option game to do, is he does get the first down. And Hassan kind of built his reputation on the scout team in his first workings with the Army football team, and they went to coach, said, hey, we got a good one coming up here, coach. You're going to like this kid, and they like him a lot.
6 carries for 37 yards here in the first half. Beth Mowens, Ray Bentley, John Berger. As Army seeks its first bowl victory in 25 years. SMU looking for back-to-back bowl wins for the first time since the 1940s. And Saturday, a triple header coming your way on the ESPN family of networks. Florida, Penn State at 1 o'clock on ABC in the Outback Bowl. Alabama, Michigan State at 1 o'clock on ESPN in the Capital One Bowl. And then the Progressive Gator Bowl, Mississippi State, Michigan on ESPN2 at 1:30, rounding out a big day of the SEC versus the Big Ten. Couple of fakes, and then the third guy gets the ball in a triple option, Patrick Mealy. Taylor Reed, though, didn't allow him to get very far.
Taylor Reed does an outstanding job of diagnosing this thing. That's the third time Army's run this play. You see Reed, he's the top side inside linebacker there, dodges the low cut block. He's seen this thing a few times. He's able to get up in there and slam it and get himself excited.
This 3-4 defense, SMU likes those front three to plug up the holes and allow their linebackers to make the plays. 3rd and 8 on this 10th play of the drive.
I would be spying Steelman in this situation.
Pitch to Mealy, nowhere to go. Pete Fleps, the senior from South Lake, Texas, their second leading tackler on the year, makes the hit.
Fleps is a senior leader on this defense. Second leading tackler, flies around pretty good, and made a nice open field hit on that one. And a big stop for this SMU defense. I think they're starting to finally get tuned in to the speed of the Army offense and then the way things are rolling as far as the option and the different counter plays. They're drawing a bead on it right now.
A handful of block kicks, block punts this year for SMU. They blocked an extra point earlier today.
He's only 12 yards back from the snap. If they come after him, which I think they will at some point, it's going to give him a chance.
Oh, terrific punt from Jonathan Bowles as the senior from Fairfax, Virginia, keeps it in play. Just 32 yards, but more importantly, 2 yards away from the SMU goal line.
Should I have all my policies with Nationwide Insurance? Bring in the parrots.
Home, auto, life.
You see, Jack, when your home, auto, and life insurance are with separate companies, they're just noisy, right? But when they work together, beautiful. Nationwide Insurance can get your policies in sync and save you up to 25%.
I didn't know they could sing like that.
Hit it, fellas.
Nationwide is on your side. I say, hey, I'll be gone today, but I'll be back all around the way. Seems like everywhere I go, the more I see, the less I know. But I know one thing, that I love you.
You can't be me. You had a hard enough time being you, and that's why you're in here. This is my shot, and I won't get another one after this.
The Fighter, rated R, now playing.
everyone. My name is Staff Sergeant Jennifer Brofer. I'm currently deployed to Afghanistan. I want to say hi to my friends and family back in Arlington, Texas. I miss you guys and I love you. And I hope everyone has a great time at the Armed Forces Bowl game.
A day for celebrating the services provided by the United States military here at the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl. Army with an offensive and a defensive touchdown and a 13-0 lead over SMU. The Mustangs have moved the ball. They've got 156 yards of offense, but the 2 turnovers have ended their drives deep into Army territory. Padron all day to throw, has a man wide open across the middle and out to the 39-yard line, Darius Johnson. Trimble on the tackle, 3rd catch for number 3 today.
And you called it, Beth. He had all day to throw the football. And when you get this kind of time, somebody's going to come open. You see Padron, he's looking. Finally, I think this was his 3rd option. Comes back, finds Johnson in the seam, wide open. And the more time he has to throw, the tougher it's going to be on that back 7 of the Army defense.
3rd catch for Johnson, all of them over 20 yards today. First and 10 for Kyle Padron. Off the fake, going to keep it, and is wrapped up by Jarrett Mackey behind the line of scrimmage.
Take a look at this SMU drive chart, and you see the first one, the fumble, which Army scored on. Then they drove it down the field pretty nicely. 10-play drive, ended up missing the field goal. The last one, the interception thrown by Padron when he just stared down the barrel at his receiver. Steve Johnson picked it off. And now here they are in their 4th drive of the game, trying to get points. They're a slow-starting football team, but I think now's time. If not now, when?
Only 4 senior starters on this Mustang team. Again, throwing deep, and another interception. Padron has a tendency to overthrow, and he did it right there. And Josh Jackson makes him pay. 3rd turnover for Army.
Really poor decision by Kyle Padron to try and force that thing into Darius Johnson. He had Beasley breaking across the middle, and if he had just waited a little bit and let that clear, he would have had a big play. You see Beasley down to the bottom, breaking over the middle. Nobody there. Instead, Padron throws it into traffic, and a big interception by Josh Jackson.
And the coaching continues the teaching over there on the sideline from June Jones.
Not a pleasant lesson being learned right now.
Army running the triple option. They don't cough the ball up very much, so they have a big advantage on the season in turnovers, and they are adding to it today.
Let's look at some of those turnovers. Here early on, you've got the forced fumble there. And then the pickup by McNary for the touchdown, then the Steve Johnson interception, and then the most recent one there by Jackson. And that one, a clear case of Padron forcing the football in, and Coach Ellerson's boys are ball hawks today.
They are now plus 16 on the season in the turnover department. We're going to run a little reverse to David Brooks. Steelman makes a nice block, but still good penetration that time, and the pressure coming from SMU. Chris Banjo, and a 6-yard loss on the stop.
Fleps as well. Kind of diagnose this thing. It's really a slow developing reverse, and that gives guys with some lateral quickness an opportunity to make a play. And a nice little crack there of the pads on that one. Kind of get some excitement going. Big hit there.
Flag also. SMU's players pointing at Army. And instead they're going to pick up the flag.
Chris Banjo just tuned him up.
I think they're looking at this block that was made by
the quarterback, Steelman. Good block low on Marcus Hunt. Marcus Hunt's 6'8". I don't know if you can block high on him.
Officials still talking things over. This is a WAC officiating crew.
Please set the clock at 8:42. 8:42. Thank you.
Our referee, Claire Gaussman, in his 13th bowl game.
Here's the hit we were talking about right there. You see Steelman chopping the legs out from Hunt. And Army does a lot of that. Low chop blocking, cut blocking. And that can get a defense angry. I can tell you from personal experience.
3rd and 16, incomplete. Intended for Austin Barr.
Incomplete. 4th down.
Not quite on the same page. Steelman thought Barr was going to come back a little bit more to the outside on that little whip type route that he ran. He was wide open, but they weren't able to connect. And watch on this punt, the Army special teams, their kicker is only about 12 yards from where the snapper is. This is dangerous to me. You can get a punt block very easily. Most guys are at 14. Army goes to 12.
Crawford gonna play it, ducks under a tackler and out across the 20-yard line.
Richard Crawford on the return for SMU.
SMU's offense, which has turned it over 3 times, will head back out there down a couple scores.
Dream boldly of creating opportunities for a child, of greeting the future with assurance, and of celebrating every occasion with joy. Share your dreams with a trusted First Command financial advisor and plan confidently. Visit firstcommand.com to locate an office near you.
The Hemi and Cummins engines that took on all comers here. They never took a day off here and helped get the job done here. Are only available in a pickup under here. The Ram 5-year, 100,000-mile warranty covers you everywhere. Ram.
Right now, get 0% financing or up to $4,500 total cash allowance on 2010 Ram light and heavy-duty trucks.
With the Venture Card from Capital One, we get double miles on every purchase, so we earn a trip to Vegas twice as fast. And since double miles add up fast, we can bring the whole gang. Is Caesar home? We get double miles every time we use our card, no matter what we're buying.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's hard to beat double miles.
If anyone objects, let them speak now or forever hold their...
Get the Venture Card from Capital One, Money Magazine's best rewards card if you aim to rack up airline miles.
What's in your wallet? Cannonball!
Honey, we're taking Daisy out for a walk.
EA Sports.
New play calling system lets the coaches do the play calling, so all you have to do is the play making. Madden NFL 11, rated E for everyone. EA Sports. It's in the game.
ESPN College Football, the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl, is brought to you by Ram Trucks, designed, tested, and proven to be the best trucks we've ever built. Ram, the Capital One Venture Card, what's in your wallet, and Madden NFL 11, available now. EA Sports, it's in the game.
Plenty to see over at the Armed Forces Adventure area. And coming up post-game, a concert with actor Gary Sinise and the Lieutenant Dan Band. Coming up at halftime, they will actually have an induction ceremony for 25 recruits from each branch of the service, which will be inducted and called to duty. Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl. Beth Mullins, former Buffalo Bill linebacker Ray Bentley, and John Berger. 3 turnovers for this SMU offense. And to give the Zach line, picks up a couple.
Zach Watts on the stop for Army.
Wrapped up by Zach Watts. The scoring in the first quarter For the Cadets, Josh McNary, a 55-yard fumble return for a touchdown, and they followed that up on their first offensive possession, an 8-play, 80-yard drive capped by Malcolm Brown's 13-yard touchdown run. The extra point was blocked. It's the run and shoot against the triple option here today, and so far the option on top. Anderson again trying to blitz up the middle. He's covered. And the pass completion out to the 40-yard line to Eldrick Robinson, but a flag down in the backfield.
Usually that means holding on the offensive line. They're going to bring this thing back.
Holding offense number 64. 10-yard penalty, second down.
Penalty on Bryce Tennyson.
I believe, Ray, that's how they contained the Anderson blitz up the middle.
Yeah, and Padron did a really good job of avoiding this pressure. You see the left guard, 64, right there. He's got an Army defender pretty much in a bear hug and then tossed him down to the ground. And it's too bad because Padron showed a little something on that play, avoided the rush, stepped up, and zipped an inside route to Robinson. Very nice play, but you can't be holding people.
Capital One Bowl Week continuing later tonight with a doubleheader for you at 6:40 Eastern. On ESPN, it's North Carolina and Tennessee in the Franklin American Mortgage Music City Bowl. Then at 10 Eastern, a rematch from the regular season, the only one in the bowls this year. Nebraska handled Washington handily in the regular season. They'll meet again at the Bridgepoint Education Holiday Bowl. Both games also available online at ESPN3.com and on your phone. And I believe the latest word was that Taylor Martinez will be able to go for Nebraska against Washington, and Jake Locker, projected first-round pick at quarterback for the Huskies. Second and long, 3 penalties for 35 yards now on SMU. Shovel pass to Zach Line, and Steven Anderson sniffed that one out.
Anderson's very impressive as a middle linebacker. We've already seen him intercept a pass, and now he has the discipline to stay home on the screen. And it's one of those little flip forward screens. Anderson sees it the whole way, and watch him kind of come back behind the wave of blockers and make a nice stick. And he's just 5'10", 222, but I'll tell you, the kid has a great nose for the football.
One of those undersized guys that beats you with his instincts and his passion. Third and forever for SMU. Padron again with time. Tipped. Still in the air and finally falls incomplete. A couple of Army guys had a crack at it.
Oh, and it looked to me like Keenan Holman should have caught this ball. You see him just turning in. Not a lot of discipline at the end of his route. When you do that little turn inside, you want to gather yourself to be able to react to whichever direction the football's thrown, and he kind of drifted through the end of the route and ended up overshooting the ball. I blame that on him more than Padron.
Zemansky from his goal line, and Josh Jackson with the fair catch at his own 49-yard line, a 40-yard punt. Army with the lead and the ball when we come back.
Capital One Bowl Week continues through January 1st.
In Texas, you judge a truck by what it can do, not by what it says it can do. And with the Ram 1500 being crowned the truck of Texas, the Laramie Longhorn, luxury truck of Texas, the Ram Outdoorsman, full-size truck of Texas, and the Ram Power Wagon, heavy-duty truck of Texas. Looks like Ram has erased all doubt. Ram.
Hey, it's the national championship, baby.
This is gonna be awesome. A new Sony HD TV.
Mark me.
That's me.
Wasn't this room a lot smaller before?
Yeah, I modified it a bit. Totally worth it.
The Tostitos BCS National Championship game on January 10th at 8:30 on ESPN. Also available on ESPN 3D. Watch it on a cell.
She's packed up her bags and she's heading out. She said, I know with such beautiful doubt.
It seems you want nothing,
But I want it all.
there's got to be good reason for these dead air phone calls.
Find your other half at plentyoffish.com, the most visited dating site in America.
Good luck.
Oh, honey.
Nice.
I'm so done with this mall.
Me too.
eBay Mobile. It's like a mall in your pocket. Download the app, go shopping.
Back at the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl and a 13-0 lead for Army. Under second-year head coach Rich Ellerson, he's very familiar with the guy across the way, third-year SMU coach June Jones. As the two of them go back to their playing days together at the University of Hawaii.
Ellerson was Jones' center for a while. You don't get much more intimate than that.
They both got their coaching start from legendary coach Dick Tomey. They're now on opposite sides in a bowl game as they both try and resurrect these once proud programs.
Push at the end there, and there's Coach Ellerson back in the day, playing center out on the island. And there he is as an assistant coach. Did coach on the same staff with June Jones out there. These guys have had a great relationship throughout the course of both of their careers, from back when they players through assistant coaches and now as head coaches.
Steelman on the keep, looking for the first down, appears to have the yardage. Taylor Reed on the tackle.
It's the first time Steelman has kept the ball today. And, you know, it's interesting, June Jones, he really has a great respect, not only for Coach Ellerson, but the service academies at Hawaii. He always made sure he scheduled, you know, one of the service academies, and continues to do so with SMU, playing Navy each year. And he just feels like, you know, it's a good thing to give back in that regard and get those guys out on the field and go against them.
Pass into the 36-yard line. Well, it's interesting, too, after their start together as players at Hawaii, the divergent philosophies that they have followed to get to the same place. You call them exotic offenses that are effective when you don't necessarily have the talent of the opponent, and you've got to figure out a different way to beat them.
Yeah, both of these offenses help turn your program around quicker and take advantage of lesser talent because of the scheme. These are schemes that you don't see week in and week out, and so when you do play them, it's tough to prepare.
June Jones went from 1-11 to 8-5 last season, and the ball pops loose. Army able to dive back on it after Taylor Reed crushed Steelman.
Boy, Reed is blitzing on this one. He shoots through uncontested. Watch him play side middle linebacker, steps underneath that block, gets his arms around Steelman, knocks the thing out. This kid's been pretty impressive. Taylor Reed, leading tackler on this team, and I don't think Steelman ever saw him, didn't expect that kind of penetration coming up from the inside.
Brian Cobbs was able to dive on the loose ball. 3rd and 4. They got it. Patrick Mealy, the senior.
This is a tough play to defend. It's just a double dive, basically. So you got one-on-one blocking on the backside, and you got all the action going the other way. It's very difficult. It's a split key read from the linebacker position. I can tell you from experience, very few of us could handle that read.
That's how tough it is to see it.
Very few of us.
Good penetration in the backfield to stuff Hassan. Marquise Frazier, a nose guard, able to barrel through there.
Frazier was impressive on tape in preparation for this game as far as his get off. He can get off the ball quick and make penetration just like you saw on that last play, and he can blow things up before they even start.
All-Conference USA performer for the Mustangs. Steelman on the rollout, and the pass incomplete. David Brooks. Look, he didn't have his footwork right there on the jump. Taylor Thompson was bringing the pressure for SMU.
Little counter bootleg play, and I tell you, Brooks was open coming across, but the pressure off the edge forced Steelman to throw that thing just a little bit high and behind. Puts the Army in a situation they don't usually get themselves in and don't like to be in, a 3rd and 10+.
Steelman just 1 of 4 throwing the ball today, 3rd and 11. Trying to direct traffic, but he's going to have to tuck and run. Bounced out of bounds by Justin Smart, the outside linebacker.
Tell you, if you don't have a passing game, which the Army really doesn't. I mean, they run some 3-step and some rollout and some bootleg, but when you're 3rd and long, you need a 5-step passing game, and they really don't have that.
44-yarder for Alex Carlton. He has made 10 in a row over the last 6 games. And he's got it.
And another one.
Army pitching the shutout here in the first half on SMU.
A few extra dollars. For me, it really does matter.
H&R Block is next to the Nickel Diner in LA, offering second looks.
I did my own taxes, and that's probably why I didn't get no money back.
If you take another peek, you never know what you can get.
We want to get back every dime due. Tonight, we reveal the results.
$431.
2,000.
It's their money. We're just bringing it back home. H&R Block, never settle for less.
Ram Trucks and the Zach Brown Band invite you to support our troops. Visit ramzone.com and write a letter to a soldier. When you do, he or she will also receive a copy of the Breaking Southern Ground CD.
Just as free. Free as we'll ever be.
Visit ramzone.com for more information.
Just as free.
Yeah, I'm here with John Allen, Eric Rosen. Bell Helicopter, Cobra Helicopter comes in at 8 o'clock this morning. I got to tell you guys, I feel very safe standing next to you right here. Tell me a little bit about this piece of hardware.
It's a AH-1 Whiskey Cobra made by Bell Helicopter. Cruises about 150 knots, and we use it for close air support for the Marines on the ground.
What usually happens when the enemy sees one of these coming over the horizon?
They're usually hiding.
Tell me a little bit about the Huey helicopter as well.
That girl over there, she's a little older, but she's going to get replaced pretty soon. She only goes about 130 knots, but she's got a lot more versatility. She can shoot, but she's help. But the big thing is it's there for the Marine on the ground. That's what our mission is.
I appreciate your time. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much, John. Here at the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl.
Guys seem very affectionate towards their helicopters.
They do. I would imagine you spend enough time in those kind of situations with the birds. After the short kick, SMU will take over at their own 44-yard line. Let's check in right now with Wendy Nix in the studio.
Pam, thank you. Coming up on the H&R Block halftime report, it's a pinstripe preview, a look ahead to the first bowl game in the Bronx. We'll have the latest on the coaching position open at Maryland, and Robert Smith joins me to break down a critical quarterback matchup between Jake Locker and Taylor Martinez. We'll see you back here in just a few minutes.
That's all coming up at the half. Beth Mowens, Ray Bentley, John Berger here in Dallas-Fort Worth. A fumble return for a touchdown, a rushing touchdown, and the field goal for the Cadets in a 16-0 lead. SMU has been able to move the ball pretty well, but a missed field goal and 3 turnovers have stymied any efforts to put points up.
I got to give a lot of credit to the West Point defense right now. They're playing extremely well. They're taking away the deep ball. That's what Padron wanted on that last one. It was not there.
Out into the flat, Johnson. 5th catch of the day for Darius. First down SMU as they move to the Army 42-yard line. As we approach 2 minutes to go now in the first half. Pickup of 13.
You're right. Johnson has been the main guy for Kyle Padron so far in this ball game. And the other guy they need to get involved is Aldrick Robinson. We saw him catch a deep pass, first play of the game. Since that time, he's only caught one other ball, and they haven't been able to get it to him over the top.
I believe that's the only pass play that has gotten behind the Army defense. We'll scramble for Padron, picking up a couple.
Yeah, let's take a look at Darius Johnson's first half thus far. See him helping out a scrambling quarterback, tapping the toe, getting it in bounds here. A nice catch out front. And then he goes up top, snags a deep ball where he was wide open.
There's Robinson. But quickly up on him was Josh Jackson, who had an interception earlier in the ball game.
SMU uses their first timeout.
SMU first.
We'll take the break with them.
They gave me a great opportunity. I've learned a lot, and I've had a blast.
I worked on a PhD-level research project that will ultimately save lives.
I served as a public diplomat teaching English in the Congo. It was awesome. I improved water quality and sanitation for villagers in Honduras.
I worked on a bionic foot for amputees at Walter Reed Medical Center.
I had an amazing experience in Nicaragua that you can't get in a classroom. I'm a leader.
I'm making a difference.
I'm a cadet at West Point.
Unbridled means the commitment to shape bright minds from around the world.
The conviction to take on complex issues.
And to ask, what if?
New ideas emerging from classic disciplines.
Pride and spirit.
Pulsing through a vibrant campus.
Unbridled means a great university rising higher.
A birthplace for tomorrow's leaders.
A beacon to the world, shining from the southwest.
Unbridled means
a century of confidence.
As we stand on the cusp of greatness.
And lead.
SMU on the move, trying to get some points aboard before the half. They trail 16-0, trying to win back-to-back bowl games in consecutive seasons for the first time since the late 40s. Enjoying their best success since the days of Eric Dickerson and Craig James and Lance McElhaney. Trying to go over the top to Robinson, off his fingertips in the end zone.
Robinson incomplete.
Fourth down coming up. Capital One Bowl Week continuing Friday on New Year's Eve. South Florida Clemson will get things going on ESPN at noon in the Meineke Car Care Bowl. Then at 3:30 Eastern on ESPN, it's Georgia and the champions of Conference USA, UCF. That's in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. And then the Chick-fil-A Bowl with South Carolina and Florida State, 7:30 on ESPN. Check out all 3 games on your phone and online as well at ESPN3.com.
I love this time of year. Bowl game after bowl game after bowl game.
You don't have to get off the couch here for
I don't.
4 or 5 days in a row.
Beautiful.
There's Eric Dickerson looking on.
Right. Part of the Pony Express back in the
what, mid-early 80s?
And a key component in bringing June Jones here. They really wanted to get the alumni involved in hiring the new coach. You know, Jones is the 5th coach since they got the death penalty back in the late 1980s.
Yeah, Dickerson played from 79 to 82, all-time leading rusher at SMU.
June Jones had a brief flirtation with the University of Maryland and their coaching vacancy, but says, I haven't done what I came here to do yet. I'm committed to being here at SMU.
Right, he reiterated his commitment.
He's got a contract extension through 2014. Direct snap, and the hammer laid down by Mike Gann.
Boy, he needs to pitch that football right away because the pitch is wide open. This is a lead option, and Padron needs to read this quickly. Right now, pitch the football. I mean, you got guys coming right at your face. You got to pitch the football, and maybe if Steelman was the quarterback in this situation, SMU would have had a better outcome.
Instead, Army will take over on downs. Gann with a big play all over the quarterback, Kyle Padron.
That's kind of bizarre. You see on a 4th down critical situation, SMU go to the option.
Yeah, for the run and shoot team in this game. Now the triple option for Steelman in the rollout. Had to change course when he saw Taylor Reed bearing down on him.
I talked to Trent Steelman yesterday and asked him about these rollout passes, if they were run first or pass first, and he said, well, they're supposed to be pass first, but coach says if there's anything there at all, to go ahead and run. And so that's exactly what he did.
Steelman comes from a family of athletes. His dad played college football, his sister college soccer, his mom runs marathons. 2nd and 9. In trouble. Banjo hauls him down from behind.
Banjo came off the edge on the blitz. Steelman has had success on cutbacks when he does scramble. In fact, he converted a 3rd and long here earlier, but this time Banjo had a beat on him and played him like a drum.
And now June Jones is thinking they might have a chance to get the ball back here. So SMU calls a timeout. Its last one of the half. With 52 seconds to play.
Take a look at the Army drive chart for today, and you saw they got that nice touchdown on the 80-yard drive. That was their 2nd touchdown. Scored the first one on defense. Then had to punt a couple of times. Nice little field goal drive, and now they've got the football again. And this is not their forte, a 2-minute drill. They're obviously not a big passing team, run the option, and when they get in these type situations, it's almost scary for them, I think, because they don't pass the football. Bad things can happen to them. And so Rich Ellerson with this nice little lead, I think, is going to be conservative on this 3rd and long.
2 for 5 on 3rd downs today. Make it 2 for 6.
Not a bad play at all. Self set to punt it away. Decent field position. What you can't have is a turnover in that situation, and I think that's exactly what Army's thinking. It's Ian Shields, their offensive coordinator, sent that one in.
And we'll remind you that the punter for Army tends to line up a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage, and SMU very proficient at blocking kicks.
And that's what I expect. Well, they're letting this thing run down. Both sides, neither of them wanting to stop the clock. Content to go into halftime the way things stand. I'm surprised. I thought June Jones would, well, he's out of timeouts, so not much he can do in that case.
So the play clock runs out with 5 seconds to go on the game clock. Army will end up calling a timeout to talk about their strategy here on what could be the final play of the half. Not only football going on around the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl, but some of the rabble-rousers Army, also players from both sides welcoming home the troops out at DFW Airport.
Yeah,
all part of the Welcome Home a Hero program.
That's got to be nice for those guys to have a nice welcoming line coming home. I think it was a good experience on all sides.
They've done a terrific job here. Plenty of activities for the players, but not overloading them with too much that they can't concentrate on the game.
Seeing punter Bulls just 12 yards from the snapper.
Low runner and an opportunity for a return at the 25-yard line. And out to the 30 as the clock expires at the end of the first half. Richard Crawford taken down. The Army Cadets a 16-0 lead. West Pointers scoring on offense, defense. They forced 3 turnovers. Now let's go down to the field and John Berger.
Coach, you're up by 16. What's going on defensively? You've already created 3 turnovers through one half of play.
That's something we take a lot of pride in, our ability to take the ball away. If we're going to be able to hold this bunch down, we're going to have to get better pressure.
What are you seeing up front at the point of attack? It appears that your defensive line is playing well, and you're getting off the ball.
Well, we're playing well. We're playing aggressively. We're not rushing the passer great. You know, we're making it a little bit thick for them to get the run game going, and we're making plays. We're get some takeaways. But as I say, to hold this group down, we're going to have to get consistent pressure up front.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Beth, back upstairs.
Thank you very much, John. 16-0, Army on top. Now let's go to Wendy Nix and Robert Smith in the studio for the H&R Block halftime report.
Thank you very much. So glad you could be here with us for the H&R Block halftime report. I'm Wendy Nix alongside Robert Smith, and certainly not the first half SMU would have liked in front of a home crowd in their home stadium, which does change the dynamics, Robert, I think, of playing in a bowl game and not traveling.
Yeah, you know, the old saying is that familiarity breeds contempt. Well, I think it can also breed complacency. I mean, they're not even playing at Amon G. Carter Stadium, which is where TCU plays their home game, where this bowl game is normally played. They're playing at their home stadium, as Wendy says, and nothing heightens your focus like getting on the road, getting away from your own surroundings, getting a little bit uncomfortable. It helps you focus on the task at hand. Clearly, SMU is not doing that in the first half, but you can't take anything away from Army. I mean, this is a team that came in 25th ranked in total defense, 23rd in pass defense, and most importantly, 6th in turnover margin.
And also perhaps hungry. Army has not won a bowl game since 1985. Also of note, earlier this week, SMU head coach June Jones withdrew his name for consideration in regards to the Maryland head coaching position. Looking ahead to the Holiday Bowl coming up tonight, 10 o'clock Eastern on the West Coast, a premier quarterback matchup. Jake Locker, Taylor Martinez, who will have the upper hand? Robert weighs in up next.
It's time for the Bud Light Playbook. Today, spelling counts, even in football.
We're on the Jumbotron. Look. Oh. Hey. Oh, my goodness. This don't look right, fellas.
Oh, guys.
Watch out, left.
Saw you on the big screen.
There we go. Thank you. Here we go.
Never send the Z's for Bud Light. Bud Light, the sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
It was 1975. My professor at Berkeley asked me if I wanted to change the world. I said, sure. Well, let's grow some algae. And that's what started it. ExxonMobil and synthetic genomics have built a new facility to identify the most productive strains of algae. Algae are amazing little critters. They secrete oil, which we could turn into biofuels. They also absorb CO2. We're hoping to supplement the fuels that we use in our vehicles, and to do this at a large enough scale to someday help meet the world's energy demands.
Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance. At Amway, our positive outlook comes naturally. We harvest healthy plant ingredients from our own organic farms, ingredients found in our Nutrilite supplements, and offer more than 450 quality products, from planet-positive cleaners to botanically infused skincare. Positivity, powering the products, the people, and the businesses of Amway. To learn more, contact an Amway independent business owner.
The champ is here! Whoa! Are you ready for the Pro Glide Challenge? I said, are you ready for the Pro Glide Challenge? John Cena! This is Gillette's newest razor, the Gillette Fusion Pro Glide. It'll give you less tug and pull.
Feel great, John Cena.
Smooth, clean cut. You feel great?
I feel great.
You feel good?
I feel good.
We're glad. We're glad.
Take the Fusion Pro Glide Challenge.
Go crush that garbage can. There you go.
This halftime report is presented by H&R Block. Never settle for less.
What to watch for later today, it's the new era Pinstripe Bowl from Yankee Stadium, featuring Kansas State and Syracuse at 3:20 Eastern on ESPN. For the Orange, it's their first bowl game since 2004. The Wildcats haven't won a bowl game since '02. Here's Todd McShay with players to watch.
The inaugural Pinstripe Bowl features one of the best running back matchups in all of bowl season. Kansas State's Daniel Thomas going up against Syracuse DeLon Carter. And I think Thomas, really what you have to watch is the versatility. He's catching the ball a lot more this season and doing it more effectively. He operates as the trigger man of that Wildcat formation. And from a scouting standpoint, I just love when he gets going downhill as a runner. Over 220 pounds, can be very physical. You look at the past 2 seasons, this guy's been a workhorse. 523 carries, over 2,700 rushing yards. Now, Carter has had some off-the-field issues, but he's back in good standing, has 204 carries this year, over 1,000 yards rushing. And what I love about his game, instincts and his lateral quickness getting in and out of breaks. I think Carter comes off the board somewhere around the 3rd round, whereas Thomas could be gone in the top 50 overall picks.
Todd, thank you. Never too early to talk about the draft. That game will be followed at 6:40 on ESPN by the Music City Bowl. UNC and Tennessee, and this game intriguing because of the improved play of a true freshman quarterback, Tyler Bray.
Look at how big his helmet looks.
Tennessee did see some significant offensive improvement behind Bray. He was one of the best quarterbacks in the FBS in the month of November and led the nation with 24 completions of 20-plus yards. It was an interesting year for Tennessee, but they won 4 straight to close out the season, and Tyler Bray got better and better.
You know, it's so cool when you get a chance to work some of these shows and you get to see these players when they're in high school. I remember doing the signing day show last year, and we talked about Tyler Bray and what a highly touted player he was, and then you get an opportunity to see him go out and play as well as he did. Now, he does need to take control of the ball a little bit better, take care of the football a little bit better. 14 touchdowns, but 7 interceptions. Obviously, against this North Carolina team, he's going to have to do a lot better. And what about North Carolina? I mean, what an incredible story. I think the job that Butch Davis has done there this year has been phenomenal. And I think the biggest reason that he's been able to be successful and fight through the adversity is because of the play of quarterback T.J. Yates. He's really had a solid season for North Carolina this year. 18 touchdowns against 8 interceptions. But when you think about all the suspensions and all the controversy surrounding this program, it's really amazing what they were able to do. But when you have a leader like T.J. Yates in there, taking care of the football for the most part, makes your job a lot easier.
For both of these teams, it was a challenging year for different reasons. To me, this game's intriguing because if you assume that we begin next year picking up where we left off, you want to see how both of these teams close out what was a challenging season. Looking ahead to tomorrow, it is the Bridgeport Education Holiday Bowl between 18th ranked Nebraska and Washington at 10 Eastern on ESPN. The Huskies' first bowl game since the 2002 season. They will try to avoid a repeat of that regular season meeting with Nebraska as the Huskies lost 56-21. It was in Seattle. Here's Aaron Andrews with a preview.
In round 1 of the Nebraska-Washington matchup early in September, it was a dismal outing for senior quarterback Jake Locker. He went 4 for 20 with 71 yards and threw for 2 interceptions as the Huskies lost to Nebraska 56-21. Round 2 here in San Diego for the Bridgepoint Education Holiday Bowl. Locker's offensive coordinator Doug Nussmeier has said his quarterback is better and ready to go. Why? He's more familiar with the system. He's improved, and so has his confidence. So what's Nebraska's incentive after already beating down Locker and the Huskies in early September? Well, senior defensive end Pierre Allen told me Washington has had a ton of time to prep for this game. Locker didn't throw everything at us in game 1, and we have to be prepared for him to have the ball in his hands all night long. As for Nebraska's quarterback, Taylor Martinez, he's been banged up all year, dealing with a sprained right ankle and turf toe. His head coach, Bo Pelini, has said he's healthy, he's ready to go, and he will start on Thursday night.
Aaron, thank you again. 10 o'clock Eastern tonight. These two teams met on September 18th. Team Magic went wild while Jake Locker really struggled. Taylor Martinez had 287 total yards with 4 TDs as Nebraska rolled. Locker, meanwhile, went 4 for 20 for 71 yards. He had 2 picks. He did have a rushing touchdown, but he wanted those 2 back to be sure. When you look to tonight, Robert, what will make the difference?
Well, I think it's that Nebraska defense, and really an incredible job. Obviously, Bo Pelini was a defensive coordinator before he took the head coaching job there at Nebraska, and his brother, Carl Pelini, the defensive coordinator. They took pretty much the same personnel and turned this defense at Nebraska around completely. Obviously, it's been a few years since they took over, but it really starts in their secondary. Alfonso Dennard and Prince Amukamara, their cornerbacks, are excellent lockdown cornerbacks, and it really allows you a lot of flexibility with your secondary to bring those guys up and help with the run game. And this is obviously going to be important in a game against a Washington team with a quarterback like Jake Locker, who obviously struggled throwing the football, 4 for 20 in that first game, but is a dangerous threat to run the football, and why pro scouts probably have softened on him a little bit, but are still salivating, because anytime you have a quarterback that can run the football the way that he does, when things break down on pass plays, protection breaks down, a guy that can run like that can certainly be dangerous.
Last year, Jake Locker had a pivotal decision to make. He could turn pro or he could return to school. He chose to return. In hindsight, Robert, what do you think about that decision?
Well, it's probably going to cost him some money, and that's not hindsight. That's just looking at the numbers. They're negotiating a new collective bargaining agreement, and there's probably going to be some sort of rookie cap. You look at these situations, though, and you can say for a quarterback, even if you struggled, you are still learning the game a little bit better. And I think when you take your lumps, when you have the struggles and you overcome that adversity, that's something that pro scouts are going to look on favorably. He would have gone higher last year, so it's going to cost him some money, but he's probably going to end up being a better pro because of what he had to do this year.
Long-term versus short-term benefits. We all have to make that analysis. Let's get a look at the Bowl Challenge Cup. ESPN awards to the conference with the most wins during bowl season. Only 2 conferences undefeated. The Big Ten and Sun Belt 2-0. Mountain West 3-1, while the ACC is 2-1. The Big East 1-1 with Syracuse playing today. Big 12 1-2. Pac-10 0-1. And the SEC, we haven't heard from them yet. Their bowl season starts today as Tennessee plays North Carolina.
How about the Sun Belt? Troy and FIU carrying them.
Getting it done with 2-0. Josh McNary, the fumble recovery and taking full opportunity. So too is his team. Army pitching a shutout, 16-0 over SMU, who's playing at home.
I don't want to get up. I don't want to go to work. I hate mornings. Great, I have 20 minutes. No time for coffee. Hello, my friend.
Can't get it together in the morning? Try 5-Hour Energy. It's simple, effective, and unlike coffee, it's ready right now. No waiting, no hassle.
Let's do this.
5-Hour Energy, the no wait, no hassle way to a great morning.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Why would any fun-loving, red-blooded All-American male give up watching football to upgrade his headlights?
Because Silver Star Ultra headlights from Sylvania are up to 50% brighter and let you see up to 40% farther and up to 50% wider. But more importantly, because it's easier to replace a couple of headlights than it is...
Thanks, Dad.
...a daughter. See farther, see wider, see better. Silver Star Ultra headlights from Sylvania.
You're watching the H&R Block Halftime Report.
Earlier this month, Maryland announced that Ralph Friedgen would not be returning as the head coach of the Maryland Terrapins next year. They have reportedly already interviewed 3 candidates, and today numerous sources say Maryland expected to interview former Texas Tech head coach Mike Leach. The last 4 remaining games in the 2010 bowl season on Friday at noon. On ESPN, it's the Meineke Car Care Bowl, South Florida and Clemson. 2 Eastern, old rivals Notre Dame and the U reunite. At 3:30 Eastern on ESPN, Georgia at number 25 UCF square off in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. And in the nightcap, a matchup of ranked teams between South Carolina and Florida State in the Chick-fil-A Bowl at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN. The Gamecocks have not played since that debacle against Auburn in the SEC championship game. Marcus Lattimore, they all struggled in that game. But Marcus Lattimore, what a season he had. What do you expect from him in this game?
Well, I think he's going to play very well, and Florida State has struggled with their run defense. But when you look at Marcus Lattimore, obviously he's a very explosive back, has great lateral movement. But the thing that really impresses me the most, especially for a young runner, is that he exhibits great patience. And that's the hardest thing to learn as a running back, especially when you have the kind of speed that Marcus Lattimore has. You have the tendency when faster backs, they just want to run downhill as fast as they can. He really sets up his blocks extremely well. And you look at the other side of the ball, Christian Ponder, we've been hearing this all bowl season. Will he or won't he? He had the elbow issue with a bursa sack that cost him some time during the season. We are hearing that he's going to play. So this obviously is going to help Florida State. And you really wonder about this South Carolina team. They lost their bowl game last year to UConn, a really tough performance for them. And then they lose that game to Auburn at the end of the season. So you have to wonder where they are psychologically at this point. But I do expect South Carolina to play a lot better than they did last year.
The health of Christian Ponder, we've talked about that quite a bit this season, certainly a difference maker. Coming up, 2 more bowl games on ESPN tonight. The Franklin American Mortgage Music City Bowl. Say that fast twice. Between UNC and Tennessee, 6:40, and the Bridgeport Education Holiday Bowl between Nebraska and Washington from the West Coast at 10 o'clock Eastern. On ESPN2, college hoops on tap on the men's side. 8th-ranked Villanova hosts Temple at 7 Eastern, while the UConn women go to 8th-ranked Stanford. The last team to beat them, I believe, at 9 o'clock.
Semifinals in 2008.
It's the Pinstripe Bowl coming up. And how about this? The Orange heading into the Yankee Clubhouse. The first ever bowl game in the Bronx. Got to be a treat for those athletes. Kansas State and Syracuse coming up 3:20 Eastern on ESPN.
Excuse me. Your change. It's nice to know you can trust people. State Farm is counting on it. They want you to talk to your neighbors, then call a State Farm agent, find out how you can get discounts up to 40%. See, State Farm insures 40 million drivers. That's more than Geico and Progressive combined. 40 million drivers, more savings, and discounts up to 40%. So call an agent at 1-800-STATE-FARM or go online.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
840, ma'am.
Straight over that way.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Would you like the window? Oh, I'm fine. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Have a great trip home.
Oh, thank you very much, ma'am. Would you like some help? Yes. Let me get that.
Have a nice night.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
No. Thank you.
There are over 400,000 NCAA student athletes, and just about all of us will be going pro in something other than sports.
Every
60 seconds, someone, somewhere is making the switch to Tempur-Pedic. Now it's your turn. Call now for your free information kit, including a Tempur material sample, along with a DVD and catalog. Traditional mattresses use metal springs that can cause pressure points, causing you to toss and turn. Only the Tempur-Pedic mattress automatically adjusts to your body while keeping your spine in perfect alignment. Plus, because Tempur-Pedic doesn't transfer motion, you won't disturb your partner when you get out of bed or shift positions. Best of all, Tempur-Pedic will let you sleep on one of their sleep systems for an incredible 90 nights before you make your purchase decision. If you want the ultimate in comfort, if you wish to get more sleep but can't, it's time you make the switch to Tempur-Pedic.
Call 1-800-465-4947 for your free information kit. That's 1-800-465-4947. Call today.
The ESPN family of networks has you covered on New Year's Day. 6 games, including 3 Big Ten SEC matchups and the first 2 BCS games. Don't forget, College Game Day kicks it all off at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPNU and 11 a.m. on ESPN. Here's the second half of the Armed Forces Bowl.
This halftime report is presented by H&R Block. Never settle for less.
Ronnie, I love you. Ronnie was finally ready to settle down.
So listen, I'm going to ask her to marry me.
Yes! Until he discovered something a little unsettling.
I just saw my best friend's wife with another man.
Now, the more he tries to make things right.
I need to know what's going on.
There's something that I have to fix.
The more complicated it gets.
You're going to shoot me? I'm right here on your stoop. You go to prison for that. Not if you're in the house. I've Googled this. Come on inside.
The Dilemma. Rated PG-13.
Treat yourself to something special for lunch. How about a coastal soup and grilled shrimp salad combination at Red Lobster? Or maybe skewers of tender wood-grilled shrimp. Or your choice of shrimp paired with wood-grilled chicken. All served with unlimited freshly baked Cheddar Bay biscuits. Seafood lunches starting at just $6.99 that fit into your budget and your lunch hour. Only at Red Lobster.
Many will hear the calling.
Move it! Yes, sir!
Few will earn the title United States Marine. The few, the proud Marines.
From Pelham Bay to the same place the Yanks play. City Island or Marina Del Rey. 2 train, 4 train, headed uptown. 5 train, 6 train, yeah, we Bronx bound. Shop on Fordham, jaws to Van Cortlandt. Around the reservoir, check the repertoire. BX the borough, do it so thorough. Go hard or go home, never play subtle. We put a stamp, and so we are the champs. That means first place, hip-hop birthplace. P-Ville, never ran, never will. I'm from the Bronx, so I'm repping for my mom.
You're watching ESPN's presentation of Capital One Bowl Week.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have just witnessed sports history being made.
Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl, the Army Cadets leading SMU 16-0. As the Mustangs will try and regroup and bounce back from a rough first half of play, but it will be West Point with the ball. Set to receive the kick here to start the third quarter.
Tell you, in the first half, Beth, I was impressed with the speed of the Army defense. They've really done a nice job flying around in that secondary, limiting scoring opportunities for the Mustangs.
Mustangs will kick it away. And through the end zone, the touchback from the 20-yard line for Army for their first possession. And here's the Nationwide Insurance game track and 3 giveaways for SMU.
Yeah, it's all about the turnovers here. The fumble by Padron picked up in a touchdown return. There's Steven Anderson with his interception, and then Josh Jackson with his. And the Army defense has not only gotten points themselves, they've pitched a shutout in the first half against the Mustangs. Pretty impressive display.
Josh McNary with a 55-yard fumble return for a touchdown. Malcolm Brown, a 13-yard touchdown scamper. And then Alex Carlton with the 44-yard field goal. He has made 11 in a row over the last 7 games for Army. And the first play of the second half goes to Patrick Mealy up the gut. Chris Banjo coming up from the secondary to make the hit.
Quick little double dive. They caught Taylor Thompson jumping around a block and just gutted it up inside.
Pickup of 7 on first down. 122 yards rushing for Army in that first half, running the triple option. Getting the best of the run and shoot so far today. Jared Hassan, he's got the first down. Hassan continues his assault on the 1,000-yard mark for the season. He would be just the second sophomore in school history to do that. Mike Mayweather over 1,000 back in 1988. Not bad for a converted tailback who hadn't played for 3 years before this season.
Right. And he said, you know, all that time off kind of made him realize what he was missing, and doing a heck of a job at that fullback, that critical fullback spot for this triple option offense.
17 yards to get to 1,000. He has the ball again to the 35. Margus Hunt, one of the first guys there, along with Justin Smart, 3 yards on the pickup.
It's interesting, this Mustang defensive line, you know, they're in an odd front, so they have a nose and a couple of ends, and those ends are crashing hard on every play.
Hassan.
Excuse me, I was going to say that's how Hunt got in there.
He's behind Steelman now. Alongside Mealy. Hassan again for a couple more. A terrific story of a young man who's from an Army family, started out at the Air Force Academy, lasted a couple of months, said this isn't where I want to be, and transferred to West Point. Grew up, though, on Army football. Used to wear a number 7 jersey that his dad got for him when they used to watch the games together. And now wearing it for real and trying to get Army to their first winning season since 1996.
I believe his girlfriend has that old number 7 jersey now, so it's still in the family.
Steelman keeps. Going to be close to the marker.
That's a nice job there by Taylor Reed. Once again filling in, as you see, Hassan 11 yards shy of 1,000. And the Army's going to go for it here. I don't know about this with the lead in your own territory, going for it on 4th and 1. A gutsy call. Unless they're just trying to draw him off, which might be the case. Yeah, I thought so. I didn't think Rich Ellerson really wanted to snap the football in that situation.
16-0 lead for Army early in the third.
You know, you don't need a white picket fence to want a class-leading 7th airbag. You don't need to rock a turntable to want a 9-speaker sound system. You don't need to hug a rainbow to want 31 miles per gallon. Which is why the all-new Mitsubishi Outlander Sport wasn't built for stereotypes. It was built for you. Get behind the wheel at your local Mitsubishi dealer, starting at $18,495.
Ring in the new year.
Listen.
With the movie event of a generation. Don't be the last to see the motion picture that has captivated the world. The Deathly Hallows Part 1, rated PG-13, now playing.
What you've gained as a student will be just as important to you as what you did as a player. As long as you know that you made the effort to do the best of which you're capable, there's no failure. Success on 3.
There are over 400,000 NCAA student athletes. And just about all of us will be going pro in something other than sports.
College football in high definition is presented by Vizio.
Standing room only crowd here. SMU essentially playing a home game on their own field here as the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl has had to make the move from Fort Worth over here to Gerald Ford Stadium as they make some changes over at TCU's football stadium. Our first half stats brought to you by American Airlines. The total yardage advantage for SMU, but the 3 turnovers costly.
Yeah, they're fortunate. And look at Army. They have decided to go for this one. Surprising.
4th and 2 from their own 41-yard line. Trying to get around the edge. And looks like they've got enough with Malcolm Brown spinning over the defender to get the yardage.
Great block by Austin Barr on the edge. He pins the edge. Watch it right here in front of you. See him hook the outside defender there and then push him by. That's Justin Smart that he worked against, and that gave Army just enough room to manage the first down. A gutsy call by Coach Ellerson.
He calls this football program a leadership laboratory. And the moxie right there, and then Hassan busting wide open up the middle and down to the 40-yard line of SMU.
There's your 1,000 right there. Excellent cut in the hole by Hassan. Just a little side step to the left to hit that opening, and bam. I'll tell you, he's a load coming straight up the middle. You see right there, he sees the hole, little jog step to the left, had a nice block from his tackle coming down. Frank Allen making a play for him.
75 yards on the day, over 1,000 for the season, and now within reach of Mayweather's sophomore rushing record at Army as Steelman ducks for cover behind the line back to the 45-yard line. Marquise Frazier made the initial push, and then Justin Smart credited with the tackle.
Great get off and push by Frazier, the nose. I mean, he took Zach Peterson, the center, and knocked him right back into the lap of Steelman, and that basically aborted that play right from the beginning.
5-yard loss, 2nd and 15. SMU's defense trying to make some plays to get the ball back to Padron and company, see if they can get something cranked up. Instead, more room right up the middle, this time for Patrick Mealy down to the 35. Bring up 3rd and short. Justin Sorrell on the stop after a 10-yard pickup.
And you got to give a lot of credit to Jared Hassan and what he's done. I mean, taking over this position as a true sophomore and, you know, coming from a different school, hadn't played for several years. Boy, he has taken to this option offense like a duck to water. He was a tailback, an I-formation tailback in high school. And to make the adjustment to fullback has been pretty special.
Ooh, able to hang on to the pitch. But another play for negative yardage as Jagarrett Davis, the sophomore from Crockett, Texas, and all-conference USA selection, makes the hit.
Steelman was got that pitch out quick, and Hassan was lucky he didn't totally fumble that thing. Juggled it a little bit. By the time he got control, Davis was all over him. And maybe that's the spark SMU needs to get things going, because they've been a little bit, kind of just flopping around here so far today.
Crawford back at his own 10-yard line with Bulls on to punt. No pressure coming from SMU. Bulls, it hit the SMU defender trying to block on the play. And SMU able to get it back.
They've got 2 number 10s on the roster, so that was either Chase Jobert or Chris Parks. Not sure which one of the number 10s. But right here, you've got to get out of the way, and you got to be told by that return man, make a poison call, wave your arms, get him out of there. Instead, it's a turnover.
You know, you don't need a white picket fence to want a class-leading 7th airbag. You don't need to rock turntable to want a 9-speaker sound system. You don't need to hug a rainbow to want 31 miles per gallon. Which is why the all-new Mitsubishi Outlander Sport wasn't built for stereotypes. It was built for you. Get behind the wheel at your local Mitsubishi dealer, starting at $18,495.
Thanks to the Venture Card from Capital One, we get double miles on every purchase, so we earned a trip to New Orleans twice as fast. We get double miles every time we use our card, no matter what we're buying. I'll take it. And since double miles out of fast, we can bring the whole gang. Fire! It's hard to beat double miles. Have you seen cards?
Oh! Get the Venture Card from Capital One. Money Magazine's best rewards card if you aim to rack up airline miles.
What's in your wallet?
She's beautiful, isn't she? I know a thing or two about beauty. We've got HDMI, AV, DVD, AC/DC, 42 inches of pure viewing entertainment, rock bottom price. I'm gonna make you a real kind of BFF deal here. I understand it's still a large purchase, and you might have to check in with a significant other. Yeah, boyfriend or husband.
eBay Mobile. It's like a shopping miracle. Download the app, go shopping.
16-0 Army leading SMU, and our John Berger is now standing by with one of the great running back tandems in college football history. John?
Yeah, the Pony Express. I have Craig James and I have Eric Dickerson. Guys, let me get right into it. SMU paid a price in the 1980s, given the death penalty. What does it mean to both you guys to be back here and now your team's in a bowl game?
Well, to be able to come back and to see Eric and be on the same field when we were kids out here having a great time. It's good to see SMU in a bowl game, and and it's great for the fans. It's great for the community. I've seen not just SMU fans here. I've seen Texas fans, A&M fans, all kinds of fans from this area have come out to support SMU. It's a community field. It's a great deal.
Hey, Craig said it all. I mean, I'm glad to come back, and it's great to come back to a field that we used to practice on. That's our home field. I mean, and see all the fans and the guys we played with, and see the other part of the Pony Express, and want to win the game most of all.
Craig, talk a little bit about your work for ESPN. What's it like just being a fan out here?
Well, you know what? Last night, getting off the air and coming back here, and people are like, hey, are you working the game? I'm like, no, I'm not working the game. I'm barely awake. It's weird to come to a game and to see it and not try to be an analyst, because Eric and I, we're sitting here talking about, hey, if they could do this or that. You just walk in the stadium, you're a regular guy, and just come try to enjoy it best you can. My wife is the hardest part for me. Hey, man, what are they doing? Where are we doing this? I'm like, oh. Just watch the game, honey.
Eric, talk a little bit about what was it like playing with Craig James? You guys are number 3 and number 1 and number 3 rushers all time in SMU history. What is it like playing with Craig in the backfield?
I mean, it was great because when you played against a football team, especially their defense, and they didn't know how to defend me or Craig, and when I left the game or if he left the game, we never lost a beat, and that made it tough on all defenses.
What was it like playing against Jim McMahon in the ball game where he throws the Hail Mary in the Holiday Bowl?
Every time I see Jim. I said, y'all know the referees cheated us in that game. You know, Jim is a good friend, and he always laughs about it. But, you know, that was a tough loss for us back in those days. We were a young football team. That was our sophomore year. But, you know, we got to our first bowl game, and we did lose it. But, you know, I guess we'll always be history. I mean, and the greatest comeback probably of all time in college football.
Craig, do you plan on getting more involved with the SMU program now, or are they asking you to get more involved now that things appear to be on the rise?
Well, Eric's been very involved. He really was instrumental in helping get June Jones here. I'm really trying to get involved with the institution. I really believe in the kids and our future being with the kids. And so I want to help learn how to help them out when they're here on this campus, the student life that they have. And so maybe that next part of my life will be a part of this here.
Well, there you have it. It's Craig James and Eric Dickerson, part of the Pony Express. Back upstairs, Beth.
Thank you very much, John. Boy, were they fun to watch back in the late 70s, early 80s. Dickerson and James together. That memorable Holiday Bowl matchup with Jim McMahon that they alluded to. And the great comeback for BYU. SMU finished up their senior year undefeated with one tie, and they lost out to Penn State for the national championship back in '82. And they won the bowl last year, winning the Hawaii Bowl. And they're trying to win back-to-back bowl games for the first time since right after World War II. A tremendous tradition of football here. Of course, the death penalty back in the 80s is something that everybody remembers. But, boy, those two together in the backfield were something else.
Yeah, I'm just thinking back. I tackled both those guys at one point or another, and that was not as pleasant as you might think. Although I got to say, Dickerson went down a little easier later in his career than he did earlier.
1st and 10. SMU has been able to move the ball pretty well today, but hurt by the 3 turnovers and a missed field goal in that first half. Zach Line, the leading rusher in Conference USA this season, rumbles to the 36 after picking up 13 more yards. On their first possession of this second half, we heard from John Berger just a moment ago on Beth Mowins, along with Ray Bentley, who enjoyed a good college career and then on to the NFL. So far, this Army team, who we thought might be overpowered a little bit with the SMU size and speed, that really hasn't been the case.
Oh, they've really done a great job today in terms of slowing things down. And right now, though, they're on their heels a little bit. Finally, the Mustangs got something going in this little drive here.
It's the triple option against the run and shoot here at the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl. Padron flushed out and throws it away.
Pass incomplete.
As he has done throughout the course of the season, he will, after the play, go over to the sideline, not only to get the next play, but to get some counsel from his head coach, June Jones.
Yeah, usually the first thing Coach Jones says, what'd you see? What'd you see on that one? Okay. This next play, be looking for this, that, or the other thing. He does a lot of coaching before giving the play to his young quarterback as he tries to groom Kyle Padron into a Jedi master of the run and shoot.
His favorite target today has been Darius Johnson, 5 catches, over 100 yards. Has to throw another one away. Good coverage downfield from that Army secondary.
I was trying to figure out just how far Padron ends up, jogging during the course of a game. You figure 60 plays, he's going to go on the average 50 yards, 25 over, 25 back. He's putting in, close to, what, 2,500 yards a game as far as just his strolling around.
Good cardio workout back and forth. They are just 1 of 5 today on 3rd down, and right now they need 10 yards.
Probably 4-down territory right now for the Mustangs.
Stepping up, throws it underneath to Johnson, inside the 30, diving inside the 25. That's 1st down yardage, a pickup of 12.
And give Zach Line all the credit for this one. The fullback is on the left side, and he has to work across the formation to get the protection. See him over there on the right? He sees the free runner coming off the other side, crosses in front of his quarterback, picks up that block to buy enough time for Padron to get the ball down the field. And that's why they brought Zach Line over there. He was the only one who knew anything about pass protection. He started out as a linebacker. That lasted about one practice, and they said, come on over here. You're going to block people.
He's bigger than 9 of the 11 starters today for Army. A converted linebacker playing fullback. Padron trying to spin out of the pressure. Marcus Hilton got there, a loss of 5.
6-man blitz by Army on that one, which is part of this defense that they've been playing all day extremely well. You see right here, they're going to control things on the edge. Mackey making a play. Big hit right there coming in from Steven Anderson. And they've just had great penetration up front. And not all the pressure that they want, but they have had some good pressure, and they've stopped the running game for the most part.
Line with 66 yards today. Coming in, averaging 107, and more pressure on the quarterback. Padron incomplete. Jordan Trimble right in his grill.
Bam Sadat and Chris Smealan, the co-defensive coordinators for the Cadets, have been dialing up the blitzes here in this series, and Padron just paid for it big time on that last one.
A.J. Mackey, Jarrett's brother, was the other guy that got in there. 3rd and 15 from the Black Knights 29. Caught at the 15, inside the 10-yard line. Keenan Holman, 1st and goal, Mustangs.
Great job of picking up the blitz, giving Padron the time, and then it's just a slant route. Watch him up at the top of the screen, gonna run the defender off a little bit and then slant, cut in front of him using his body, and then some yards after the catch by the true freshman Keenan Holman.
His first catch of the day out of Beaumont, Texas. He's gonna stay in there.
It's a couple of big 3rd down conversions by this Mustang offense.
Deepest drive of the day for SMU. This the 11th play. Line looking for some room to the 7. Steve Erzinger, the junior from Houston, on the tackle.
And Zach Line actually ran into Bryce Tennyson, the pulling guard, and he had to kind of get that guy out of his way. You see right there, Tennyson's pulling, and Line says, come on, man, get out of the way or hit somebody, do something. And by the time he got shed his own blocker, the Army had showed up.
Three receivers to the left.
A little pistol formation.
Yeah.
Haven't seen that yet.
Line's going to get it and tripped up. Steven Anderson making the play.
Great timing on the blitz by Anderson. Shoots the backside A gap, flattens out, and is able to make the tackle. He's a special player. See him right here, how he kind of squeezes through that gap and then is able to redirect. A lot of times guys come flying through gaps and they end up running past the play. Anderson's agile enough that he got through there, flattened out, and made a diving tackle. I know his grandmother's watching and enjoying the show down in Florida.
3rd and goal. Padron to the end zone, wide open, touchdown. Eldrick Robinson with a touchdown catch for the 8th game in a row.
Oh, he just beat Josh Jackson. Gave him Jackson's up in press, and Robinson gives him a little shake of the shoulders and then cuts across his face. Watch this little shake right here. The one little step to the outside. Jackson bought into that. Robinson wide open. Nice throwing lane for Padron, and the Mustangs get on the board.
Extra point good from Matt Zemansky, and they finally strike on their first possession of this 3rd quarter. 16-7. Padron to Aldrich Robinson, and the senior hauls it in.
Duty, honor, integrity, the values that guard our freedoms at home and abroad. The same values that drive the men and women of Armed Forces Insurance to protect those who protect our nation. Visit AFI.org for a no-obligation quote. Armed Forces Insurance. Our mission is you.
We live in a modern world where everything is at our fingertips. Yet long ago, we were forced to hunt and gather for survival. My mission? Reawaken that spirit. I'm Steven Ranella. This is my story. This is my new series.
The Wild Within premieres January 9th at 9, only on Travel Channel. Travel here.
Hey, boss, do we have Aflac?
Yeah, we have something else.
But if you're hurt and miss work, does it pay cash like Aflac does? Nah. Or let you spend it any way you want, like for gas and groceries? Nah. Or help with everyday bills like Aflac does?
Nah. There's Aflac and there's everything else. Visit Aflac.com for an agent or quote.
Every day, more and more people are proud to say, I save with Start. Savings today and rewards tomorrow. The automatic savings plan from U.S. Bank that makes it easy for everyone to save. Save $1,000 and we'll reward you with a $50 U.S. Bank Rewards Visa card. Keep $1,000 saved for a year and get another $50. Save for a rainy day or a sunny day. Everyone's saving. Why don't you start? All of us serving you. U.S. Bank.
The Tostitos BCS National Championship game, January 10th on ESPN.
ESPN College Football, the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl, is brought to you by Mitsubishi Outlander Sport. Experience the all-new Outlander Sport at your Mitsubishi dealer. The Capital One Venture Card, what's in your wallet. And Aflac, invest in your employees' future without paying a cent. Learn more at aflac.com.
Some of the military hardware on display here at the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl. They've got even got pieces of musicians and parts of helicopters in the trophy that will be handed out after the game to the winner of today's matchup.
Yeah, 55-pound trophy. A lot of scrap metal in that bad boy.
Kickoff through the end zone out to the 20 for Army on its second possession of this second half. Capital One Bowl Week continuing later tonight. Got a couple of games for you. North Carolina and Tennessee in the Franklin American Mortgage Music City Bowl. Then at 10 Eastern, Washington and Nebraska in the Bridgepoint Education Holiday Bowl. Both games are also available online at ESPN3.com as well as on your phone. And Tennessee's freshman quarterback, Tyler Bray, taking on that tough North Carolina defense. And the good quarterback matchup with Nebraska and Washington. Jake Locker and Taylor Martinez.
I tell you, Kyle Padron woke up in that last drive. He was 5 of 8 for 67 yards, converted 3 third-down passes, and that bodes well for SMU for the rest of this ball game if he can finally get things rolling a little bit, which he certainly did on that last drive.
Not often do you see the run and shoot go in 13 plays, 92 yards in 6 minutes, but that's what got it done for them.
Nice little drive there.
Down the keeper, diving out across the 23. Excuse me, the pitch to Brown. Ryan Smith coming up to make the hit. Pickup of 7, that'll move the chains. Every time they were breaking the huddle during their early season practices and throughout the year, Army was talking about staying together and bring back the winning ways. Not only did they want to get to a bowl, they wanted to win the bowl and get a winning season for the first time in 15 years.
Little inside trap misdirection play, not much there, but this is a triple option offense, and where you really want to succeed if you are Army is with the dive. That's the whole thing that makes, I think, the triple option go. And you look at it today so far in the breakdown, pretty good on that dive. 16 times for 75 yards. The pitch 5 for 13, but they did get that touchdown on the pitch early in the ballgame to Malcolm Brown. So that's kind of how the option's breaking down. Not much out of Steelman today, but you don't need that if your fullback is gashing people, and Hassan's done a nice job of doing that.
All three of the service academies now running the option. All three of them top 10 in the country in rushing this year, and all three in bowl games this season for the first time in history. Justin Sorrell gets the tackle for SMU.
And Patrick Mealy, the lead back in this, he's going to pass up a defender, and that's the defender that makes the tackle right there. You can't ever pass up a guy, and Sorrell didn't get blocked. He's going to step up and make a nice hit, nice tackle. But I think Mealy missed his assignment on that one.
Army just 2 for 8 on 3rd down today. Simon Cherniak, the injured player, coming to the sideline for SMU, and Army wants the timeout. And that will be their second, one left for them the rest of the way, with 26 seconds to go here in the 3rd. And for Rich Ellerson and this Army team, talking about getting back to winning ways, it's so personal for a lot of these players coming from military families, including the coach, whose father and 2 brothers both attended the academy and are lifelong members of the military. Don't forget about the Rose Bowl coming up, presented by Vizio. New Year's Day, Wisconsin and TCU. Coverage begins at 4:30 Eastern. The Rose Bowl is also available on ESPN Radio, online at ESPN3.com, and also on your phone. Ellerson talked about the tremendous trust, not only from the alumni, but from the entire country. When you think about it, how all Americans have a rooting interest in some form in the service academies.
He talked about this being a celebration, but also he said it was so important for the seniors to get a payoff, and you know, they'll forever be known as that group that started the turnaround for the Black Knights, got them a winning season if they're able to hang on here today.
Brian Cobbs gets out to the 39-yard line. Ryan Smith with another tackle. It's going to bring up a 4th and short. They went for it and got it almost at this spot on the field earlier in the half.
They're going to let that clock run down to end the quarter and then think about it a little bit. This one's a little bit further than the last one they converted.
16-7 Army as we head to the 4th.
The 2011 Under Armour High School All-America game, Wednesday at 7 on ESPN.
H&R Block is doing a second look at our taxes. So someone was in here this morning and left us some flyers. I own a quilt store.
I don't like doing taxes. Numbers aren't my kind of thing. I'm really a people person.
You're going to carry an inventory. You're going to have mileage.
There was a lot that I'd guessed at, and I have a feeling I guessed wrong.
Are you ready? I think she's ready.
Oh my gosh!
It's 5,003.
H&R Block. Never settle for less.
You know, you don't need a white picket fence to want a class-leading 7th airbag. You don't need to rock a turntable to want a 9-speaker sound system. You don't need to hug a rainbow to want 31 miles per gallon. Which is why the all-new Mitsubishi Outlander Sport wasn't built for stereotypes. It was built for you. Get behind the wheel at your local Mitsubishi dealer, starting at $18,495.
So fresh, how we feel, everybody get this down here on.
Need for speed, on pursuit, rated everyone 10 and up.
Capital One Bowl Week culminates New Year's Day on ESPN with a highly anticipated showdown between SEC and Big Ten powers in the Capital One Bowl. The Spartans look to cap off their remarkable season with a win over former coach Nick Saban and the talented veteran offense of the Crimson Tide. The Capital One Bowl, Alabama versus Michigan State, New Year's Day at 1 Eastern on ESPN. College football lives here.
This holiday season, give your new HD TV the best gift ever. You've got Dish Network, now get Dish Network HD. With one simple call, you'll get the most HD channels, the highest HD quality available. And we've got the best deals on the best DVRs in the business. Plus, get HBO and enjoy the best original series and movies in HD. Because everyone loves watching movies in HD. You've got the HD TV. Let the joy of the holidays surround you in stunning HD. Dish Network HD.
Wonder if now is the best time to repair your credit? Are there things you need, but they're just out of your grasp? Let RepairMyCreditNow.com put the pieces back together and make it easy.
Hi, my name is Michael. I had credit repair with RMCN, and I have a brand new house and a brand new 2009 Harley-Davidson Road King, and RMCN made that possible.
It's fast, easy, and confidential. You should be able to get the things that you need. Repair My Credit Now. We'll show you how.
Welcome back to ESPN College Football in the Capital One Bowl Week. This is the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl with Army taking on SMU from Gerald J. Ford Stadium in University Park, Texas. 16-7 Army. The defense scored on the Josh McNary fumble recovery. Malcolm Brown rushed for a 13-yard touchdown. Alex Carlton with the 44-yard field goal all in the first half. They have not turned it over. They have not been penalized. And they are about to punt it away here on 4th down.
That's amazing. Very clean ball game by the West Point.
SMU going to take over at their 26-yard line. Conversely for the Mustangs, 3 costly turnovers in the first half, but their first possession of the second half, a very good one. 13 plays, 92 yards for the touchdown.
And Kyle Padron got himself on track a little bit. Converted 3 third downs in that drive with some excellent pinpoint passing. Army has tried to turn up the heat a little bit. They blitzed numerous times in that last drive, trying to get hits on Padron.
The sophomore who was the MVP at the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl last year will try and rally the troops here in the second half for SMU. Just underway in the 4th quarter. Zach Line offset in the backfield. Underneath, Johnson slips out at the 28. That's his 7th catch of the day.
Johnson doing a real nice job as far as becoming that go-to guy. He's one of 3 receivers for SMU coming into the game that had over 60 receptions. So it's usually a combination of Robinson, Beasley, and Darius Johnson. Johnson getting most of the work today.
Padron running out of time, slips away from Anderson, dumps it off to Line. Tries to tiptoe down the sideline, gets to the 35. A 7-yard pickup will leave them a yard short.
All right, Steven Anderson's going to hate himself because he has a sack coming right here off the edge. See him get off that block late and then try to wrap up Padron, and he had a little spin move in him. And I've been impressed with Padron's movement in the pocket today. I questioned that in preparation for this game. I thought he just went down too easily, stumbled around a lot, fell down on his own sometimes. Been pretty strong on his feet so far today.
Nice snag by Holman at the 40 and a first down for SMU. Army is taking away the deep ball, so Padron picks away short.
Great adjustment on that route by Holman. You're going to watch him come underneath, and then he feels the defender there, so he keeps it short, keeps it underneath Erzinger, the linebacker there, who could have had a big blow-up shot, but he kind of overran it a little bit.
Pick up a 5, moves the chains from their own 40. It's the Mustangs in the run and shoot that have become the ball control offense here in the second half, and they're going to call a timeout. 16-7 Army, but the Mustangs on the move early in the fourth.
Hey, what's a good word, Grandpa Jack?
Have you heard the news?
Greg, stop talking and listen.
Little Fockers is the #1 movie in America.
How dope is that?
It's pretty dope.
Little Fockers.
You better believe it.
Rated PG-13.
Well, what do we have here?
Frozen Pipes, a classic.
Well put, pretty obvious. Ms. Young.
That's why it's so important as an agent to sit down with our clients so we can get to know them and talk about stuff like this.
Why don't they just turn off the main water supply?
You do realize this is just an exercise, right?
I do now.
Moving on. Okay, let's get the fire retardant suits on.
We are insurance.
We are farmers. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum.
I have asthma, and when my symptoms came back, I get this tightness in my chest.
So I went back to my doctor again. We chose Symbicort to help control my asthma symptoms all day and night.
Symbicort improves my lung function starting within 15 minutes.
Symbicort will not replace a rescue inhaler for sudden symptoms. It is a combination of 2 medicines and should not be taken more often than prescribed.
Symbicort contains formoterol. Medicines like formoterol increase the risk of death from asthma problems, and children and adolescents may have an increased risk of being hospitalized for asthma problems.
Symbicort is not for people whose asthma is well controlled with a long-term asthma control medicine like inhaled corticosteroids. Once your asthma is well controlled, your doctor will decide if you can stop Symbicort without loss of control and prescribe a long-term asthma control medicine.
Be sure to see your doctor if your asthma does not improve or gets worse.
Symbicort is a good choice to help control my asthma all day and night.
Ask your doctor if Symbicort is a good choice for you.
If you can't afford your medication, AstraZeneca may be able to help.
I would love to have been a musician, but I knew that I was going to need a day job. We actually have a lot of scientists that play music. The creativity, the innovation, there's definitely a tie there. One thing our scientists are working on is carbon capture and storage, which could prevent CO2 from entering the atmosphere. We've just built a new plant to demonstrate how we can safely freeze out the CO2 from natural gas. It looks like snow. It's one way that we're helping provide energy with fewer emissions.
Chief Warrant Officer Kurt Lautenschlager on a Coast Guard cutter in Quidnick, underway in the Arabian Gulf. I'd like to say happy holidays to my friends and family back home in Chelmsford, Massachusetts. My daughters Kelsey, Alyssa, Lauren, my fiancée Melanie, and her 2 children, Noelle and Brendan. Happy holidays. See you soon.
The Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl here at Gerald J. Ford Stadium in Dallas-Fort Worth. 16-7, Army leading SMU as the Mustangs try and win back-to-back bowls for the first time since the 40s. Army looking for its first bowl win since the Cherry Bowl back in 1985. Zach Line can't get to the edge. Donovan Travis able to wrap him up after Josh McNary slowed him down.
One thing about Line is he will take some shots. He's you know, 6'1", 235, but he's what I call a vertical runner. He's straight up and down a lot of times, and that gives a lot of body for defenders to come up and hit. And Donovan Travis laid it on him right there on that run.
Zach Line over 1,400 yards on the season. That's the second best single season mark in school history. Only Eric Dickerson has rushed for more in a year than Zach Line has this season. Good spin by Line, has the first down just across the 50.
Great strength. He broke that Josh McNary tackle.
How about a look at the SMU Bowl history? Their 13th appearance. They won the Hawaii Bowl, blew out Nevada last season.
I remember watching that, and that was a shocker to me. And SMU, They brought June Jones back to Hawaii and gave him a great gift as they dominated Nevada last year.
Jones in his resurrection out at Hawaii ended up taking the Warriors to a BCS game before he left, hoping to do the same with SMU. His line punctures that front line of defense to the 45. 81 yards on the day now for Zach.
Talking about June Jones and him building this program, they have a really good recruiting class coming in. Some of the services rank them in the top 25 in the country as far as that recruiting class they have coming in. So with the young quarterback getting better even today in front of our very eyes, this is a football team that's on the rise, no doubt.
Played for the Conference USA Championship this year. Padron throws that one out. Had some pressure coming from McNary. Here's Wendy Nix back in the studio.
Thank you very much. New York still digging out from a massive snowstorm earlier this week, but they will be ready at Yankee Stadium for the first ever New Era Pinstripe Bowl. Kansas State and Syracuse coming up right after this game, 3:20 Eastern on ESPN.
We got a couple 1,000-yard rushers coming up in that game. Delone Carter, Daniel Thomas. K-State and Syracuse coming up. This is the first of 4 coming your way on ESPN today. On third down, Padron has his man at the 35. First down to Keenan Holman.
This is a nice read by Kyle Padron because initially he's looking to the left side for an out route, but he's got 3 receivers out on the right side, all of them coming underneath, and that's part of the run and shoot, and those receivers are reading the coverage along with the quarterback, and when they can get on the same page, man, you cannot stop that run and shoot offense. Holman down after that play.
Freshman from Beaumont, Texas. We're back to the Capital One Bowl Week continues on New Year's Eve with 3 games on ESPN. First at noon at South Florida and Clemson in the Meineke Car Care Bowl. 3:30 Eastern, Georgia and UCF, the champs from Conference USA, in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. And then at 7:30 Eastern, South Carolina and Florida State in the Chick-fil-A Bowl. Check out all 3 games on your phone as well as online at ESPN3.com. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. Holman up and headed over to the sideline. All of Army scoring coming in the first half, a 16-0 lead. This is just the second possession of this second half for SMU. They went 92 yards and scored on their first drive.
Well, that's amazing. I mean, here we are with 10.5 minutes left, and it's only their second possession in the half. That's something else.
First drive took up 13 plays. This is the 9th play of this drive. First and 10 from the Army 35-yard line. They draw the line. Big hole, picks up 8. Kelly Turner leading the way up front.
A great block by Kelly Turner. Got up on the linebacker, and that created extra room for Zach Line. See Zach Line having himself a bit of a day. And boy, he's good when he gets out in open space, and that's what happens a lot in this run and shoot offense, because you have defenders trying to rush upfield to get to the quarterback, and then the rest of them dropping back to stop the pass. A lot of his runs, he's got some open space to deal with.
Sophomore from Oxford, Michigan. Having himself another good day. Padron looking to go over the top into the end zone. Touchdown! Darius Johnson, 28 yards on the strike.
This is a great throw by Kyle Padron as Eric Dickerson's passing out some high fives. Working on the linebacker, Erzinger. You have a mismatch with Darius Johnson at 5'10", 178, going against a 6'1", 222-pound linebacker, runs past him and gets his head turned around, finds the football. Erzinger not able to. A nice strike and another good drive for the Mustangs.
2 second-half drives, 2 scores, and the block extra point looming large right now in a 2-point game. Johnson with a tremendous catch over Erzinger.
Dream boldly of creating opportunities for a child, of greeting the future with assurance, and of celebrating every occasion with joy. Share your dreams with a trusted First Command financial advisor and plan confidently. Visit firstcommand.com to locate an office near you.
The Hemi and Cummins engines that took on all comers here. They never took a day off here and helped get the job done here. Are only available in a pickup under here. The Ram 5-year, 100,000-mile warranty covers you everywhere. Ram.
Right now, get 0% financing or up to $4,500 total cash allowance on 2010 Ram light and heavy-duty trucks.
It's game time, where you either go big or go home. The challenge, you've only got $5. Well, get ready. Hunger's about to get its bell rung. Taco Bell's Touchdown $5 Box. Get a loaded beefy crunch burrito, the legendary Crunch Wrap Supreme, classic crunchy taco, crispy cinnamon twists, and an ice cold medium soda. The Touchdown $5 Box. It's $5 and it's good. Only at Taco Bell.
I don't want to get up. I don't want to go to work. I hate mornings. Great, I have 20 minutes. No time for coffee. Hello, my friend.
Can't get it together in the morning? Try 5-Hour Energy. It's simple, effective, and unlike coffee, it's ready right now. No waiting, no hassle.
Let's do this.
5-Hour Energy, the no wait, no hassle way to a great morning.
ESPN College Football, the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl, is brought to you by Bell Helicopter, proud to serve those who serve. Ram trucks, designed, tested, and proven to be the best trucks we've ever built. Ram. And the Touchdown Big Box, only at Taco Bell.
And the pregame touchdown of the Cobra helicopter here in Dallas-Fort Worth, 16-14. All Army in the first half, all SMU here in the second half as the Mustangs mount the comeback. It was the triple option winning the first half, and now the run and shoot taking over. Szymanski to kick it away. The difference, by the way, on the scoreboard is a blocked extra point after the second touchdown by Margus Hunt.
The big guy, 6'8", got a hand up, knocked it down, and made it basically a 2-point ball game as we stand.
Margus came here to train with one of the best track and field coaches in the world. He wants to be on the Estonian Olympic team in London, and they took one look at that 6'8" frame and said, son, you got to come play with us while you're here.
Good ball. Boy, that's dangerous with that ball rolling around. It's a live football.
Raymond Maples able to get on it. Army deep in its own territory. Well, the Mustangs remembering Dandy Don Meredith with that number 17 on the helmet, one of their legendary players here at SMU.
And of course, everybody knows Dandy Don from his Monday Night Football days. And him and Howard Cosell used to love to watch that and listen to them. Dandy Don passed away on December 5th. Played here at SMU 1957 through 59.
He was a two-time All-American here. Boy, the Mustangs defense has been up to the challenge here in the second half. That's Margus Hunt, who had the blocked extra point. He stuffs Jared Hassan.
Coming down on that crash stunt from his defensive end position. You're going to see the down block and the pull around, and he just jams things up. Doing a heck of a job on defense. Stuffed Zach Peterson, the center, on that one.
Trent Steelman has only thrown 2 passes since the first quarter, so they are ready for the run as Steelman goes back to throw. Incomplete out at the 20. 3rd and long.
One of the things that happens when you play a triple option team, and I mentioned this earlier in the game, Beth, is early on you're not accustomed to the speed that it comes at you with, because you can't really duplicate that in your scout teams in your preparation. But by all accounts, SMU has caught up to the speed of the triple option, and in this second half they've done a great job defending it.
Incomplete. Looking for Austin Barr. He had Justin Smart bearing down on him and had to get rid of it. Punting unit comes on, and SMU should have excellent field condition as Barr is slow to get up over on the Army sideline after that play.
Give this SMU defense all the credit. Playing extremely well. Good coverage on those passes. We're only able to eat up 53 seconds off the clock in this possession. I think they're waiting to see what's going on there with Austin Barr. We'll take another look at it. Boys, that foot caught on the turf and that knee buckled, and that's not a pretty sight. Hate to see that.
Jonathan Bolt will be punting from his own goal line. Acker back at the 50, awaiting, along with Crawford. Tremendous punt, backpedaling Acker to the 30-yard line. And some good coverage by Army. Jonathan Bowles, 57 yards to get him out of trouble.
The 2011 Rose Bowl game, New Year's Day on ESPN.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
The year's biggest star is Boo Boo. Huh? Are you feverish? I mean, Yogi Bear! It's a big fun holiday 3D event. It's amazing! Whoops. Yogi Bear, rated PG.
New Smirnoff Premium Malt Mixed Drinks. A delicious explosion of cranberry and lime. And a real mixed drink taste, worthy of a glass. 5.8% alcohol by volume. Please drink responsibly.
Do you have any idea how fast you were? Hey, I know you. Yeah? You're that GoDaddy girl. I love GoDaddy.com. Domain names, websites, hosting.
Less than $1 a month.
Affirmative. You know, I've always wanted to be a GoDaddy girl. Well, you seem to have what it takes. Oh, I definitely have what it takes.
See what happens next at GoDaddy.com.
Well, the U.S. Armed Forces was the recipient of the Great American Patriot Award from Armed Forces Insurance, and it was presented to Admiral Thad Allen of the Coast Guard, who was so instrumental in the cleanup after the Gulf oil spill earlier this year. Honored with the Great American Patriot Award at halftime. They also were able to give away a house, a part of the Wounded Warrior program. The family of a wounded soldier received a $250,000 new home. They've done some terrific things here today, honoring our 6 men and women.
That's awesome.
16-0 Army, but SMU has scored on both of its drives here in the second half. Line, look at him lurk, waiting for the opening, and dives out across the 45.
Did a nice job of riding the shoulder of the puller, Kelly Turner, who went around the corner, got in front of him, and Line was able to tuck in behind him and pick up 8 quick yards.
Second down, 1.
Three receivers to the left this time for Padron. Holman solo to the right. Boot on the play action, and he's got Haynes coming across the field. Steven Anderson pushed him out around the 45-yard line. First catch for Haynes, gets the first down.
Boy, he had Cole Beasley wide open if he had just would have waited a little bit. Watch Beasley, he's up at the top in the slot, and you see him come across. Look at how open he is in the middle of that field. Nobody around him. But Padron, he had an open one early, so he dumped it off. But, boy, you got him that wide open 20 yards down the field. Sure would like to see your quarterback get it in there.
Showing the pistol again on first down. Line tried to get away from Anderson to the 39-yard line. Here's Wendy Nix in the studio.
Thank you very much. Getting set in just a few minutes. Right after this game at 3:20, it's Daniel Thomas in Kansas State taking center stage at Yankee Stadium, the inaugural Pinstripe Bowl against Syracuse. Coming up right here on ESPN.
Thank you, Wendy. Well, this Army team familiar with playing in Yankee Stadium. They had that memorable matchup with Notre Dame there during the regular season.
Well, memorable for Notre Dame, not so much for Army.
Zach Line now over 100 yards, 102 for the day. Padron gets the first down to Cole Beasley. His third catch of the afternoon. Jordan Trimble had the coverage.
It's a great year for the academies in football, Beth. For the first time, all three, Navy, Air Force, and Army, made it into the bowl season. So far, 1-1. But congratulations to all of them. I think that's awesome.
Conference USA, meanwhile, 1-3. So SMU trying to get another one for them. Tulsa winner over Hawaii. Padron. Holman couldn't hang on. SMU with scoring drives of 13 plays and 10 plays. And touchdown passes to Aldrick Robinson and Darius Johnson here in the second half.
Padron getting some last-minute instructions from June Jones on the sidelines. Padron closing in on 300 yards. He's 22 of 33 for 299 and a pair of touchdowns. He's played much better in the second half.
That was after he threw 2 interceptions in the first half. Draw the line, picks up a couple. Steven Anderson with the tackle. Let's take a look at those scoring drives here in the second half.
You see him handling the shotgun snap. This one a little slant by Aldrick Robinson down in the red zone. And this he lets fly a perfect strike to Darius Johnson, who had a mismatch on linebacker coverage. Good recognition by Padron, and then threw it into a tight space to get himself his second touchdown pass.
Big difference first to second, with the 14 points being the most critical. driving for the lead late in the fourth. Padron with the blitz coming. Trimble missed it. Johnson with the catch. He's popped at the 30 by Josh Jackson. Missed opportunity there for the Cadets.
Impressive strength by Kyle Padron to stay up after getting hit on the blitz from Donovan Travis. I mean, that was amazing to be able to stand up and hold up to that, especially after watching him play a little bit. He went down too easily, but here they're going to try to get ahead with a field goal, it looks like.
Matt Zemansky missed one earlier today. This one will be from 47 yards.
He hit a 61-yarder in week 1, so he's got the distance.
SMU calling the timeout.
Well, June Jones icing his own kicker, apparently.
Well, we talked with Rich Ellerson during the week and with Coach Jones. They both talked about how in these bowl games after a long layoff, sometimes those special teams are so important. The blocked extra point for SMU and this potentially game, the field goal here to go ahead with 4:10 to play.
This is a big kick right here for Szymanski.
Let's check in with John down on the field.
Yeah, Beth, June Jones called a timeout, called his kicker over. The wind is blowing big time right to left. I think he wanted to have a conversation and ask him, hey, how sure are you about this? Because on that previous kickoff, the wind is just killing the ball, coming right to left in this end of the stadium. We'll see if he can get it up and power it through.
Thank you, John.
It's almost shifting into his face a little bit, that crosswind.
47 yards. Pulled it. Army up 2 with 4:05 to play.
SMU with only 1 timeout, so a couple of Army first downs, and they can ice this thing.
(16 to 14). West Point, can the triple option run out the clock?
Could switching to Geico really save you 15% or more on car insurance? Do woodchucks chuck wood?
Hey, you dang woodchucks! Quit chucking my wood!
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
At Case IH, we know successful farming is about being ready. Ready with the right equipment, technology, and support. And right now, we're helping you be ready for next season in a big way at the Case IH Big Red event. Pre-order new 2011 delivered Case IH tractors, combines, and sprayers at some of the biggest savings of the year. You'll find 2010 models priced right, too. Like we said, it's big. The Case IH Big Red event, going on now at your Case IH dealer.
Matt Szymanski with a chance to give SMU the lead from 47 yards away. And Rich Ellerson calling it the whole way. Wide left. And Army with the 2-point lead will take over with 4:05 to go. And a triple option attack, Ray Bentley, that has only rushed for 60 yards and 4 first downs this entire second half. They'll have to do better to burn the clock.
SMU defense battling now for their very life in this ball game. Need a stop here to get it back to their offense. Army, I can't imagine they're going to try and throw the football. I see them running, getting it to the edge, and trying to make something happen on the ground. I don't think they want to risk going to the air.
First bowl game in 15 years at West Point. They haven't won a bowl since the 1985 Peach Bowl.
An unbalanced line. First time we've seen that today.
Steelman will keep. Maybe got one. Taylor Reed with the tackle. It's going to bring up a third down.
Yeah, here's what you were talking about, Beth, the total yards by halves. And the second half, the Army offense has been relatively shut down as SMU uses their final timeout to try and stop this thing. A 3rd and 6 coming up. But give SMU credit on defense. They figured some things out here in the second half.
Well, January 1st marks the official start to the Year of the Quarterback, and it will be toasted with a live show from San Diego to kick off the new year. It all gets started on New Year's Eve at 11 Eastern on ESPN with the Year of the Quarterback countdown, followed by an encore presentation of the Year of the Quarterback kickoff special.
When is the Year of the Linebacker? I want to do that one.
Well, let's see. How many linebackers do they have in the studio? How many quarterbacks do they have in the ESPN studios? I think you're outnumbered.
Is that what it is?
When it comes to programming.
I think me and Spielman could do a couple hours just standing on our head. Good linebacker show.
I think if you showed up, the two of you in the studio, you might be able to just bully them into doing
might be able to
Year of the
talk them into
Linebacker.
it, right? That would be fun.
3rd down and 5 to keep the ball and the clock running. Steelman rolls across the 40, and he's got it with Hassan leading the way. Got just enough of the defender to give Steelman the room.
Sprung the bootleg on him. They pull both the guard and the tackle on the side. See both those linemen getting out of there? That freezes the defense, and it allows Steelman to get the edge. He was never going to pass that football right there. I know it was a run-pass option. He was tucking that thing away the whole time.
The sophomore from Bowling Green, Kentucky, trying to make the plays. 1st and 10. SMU is out of timeouts. Taylor Reed wraps up Mealy.
You're going to see the Army just take as much time as possible to run time off the clock. But watch Taylor Reed. He's played outstanding throughout the day. Excellent keying and then avoiding the lineman late and then finishing with a power tackle. He kept his feet underneath him, was able to push the ball carrier back. That's how linebackers do it.
You usually can try and hope for some help from the offense, but no turnovers and no penalties still today for Army. Hassan, he runs over a defender across the 45 before he's gang tackled.
Yeah, that was pretty good power run right there by Hassan. He ran right over Pete Fleps. Fleps is 6'2", 230. And Hassan about 6'3", 220-ish. So the smaller guy won that matchup.
Another 3rd down, 3rd and 4. And Steelman uses their final timeout with 1:18 to go.
That's a good decision. If you don't like what you're seeing there on a critical 3rd and 4 here to ice a ball game, you can go ahead and take yourself a timeout. You got one left anyway. Good decision. Another good decision by Steelman. And that's the thing about this Army football team and the mistake-free, disciplined nature, the way Coach Ellerson has them playing. You don't beat yourself, you're going to win a lot of football games.
They've talked about not just getting to this bowl game, but to win it, to have a winning season, and what it would mean to the legacy of this senior class. Coach Ellerson told us how this group has changed how the football team is perceived at West Point. Back to being an integral part of the experience of going to school there.
Right, their slogan is "Bring it back." They're trying to bring back winning ways to West Point.
Steelman has his man inside the 35. David Brooks has got it. Another Army first down.
Oh, that's a gutsy call, and I like the way they bootleg to the right. Much easier for Trent Steelman to throw the football when he rolls to his right. It's the counter boot. They've been showing that counter all day. This is the counter off of the counter. And a perfect throw from Steelman to his crossing receiver, David Brooks, and that just about will do it now for Army. All they have to do is take a couple of knees, and they're going to win a bowl game.
Just his second completion of the day. And Steelman down to a knee. And there's the Gatorade bath for Rich Ellerson.
I rode down the elevator this morning with Coach Ellerson in the hotel, and he was all smiles, relaxed, excited for the game. He's a really good guy. You get to know him a little bit. I think he's the perfect guy, perfect fit for the football program there at West Point, and he has done an amazing job turning this team around.
After the disappointment and the frustration of the Navy loss at the end of the regular season, West Point bounces back, and they're going to win it. Their first bowl victory in 25 years. 16-14 over SMU as the old Hawaii center gets a win over the former Warrior quarterback and Rich Ellerson and June Jones.
I'm sure they'll discuss this one for years to come, and I bet June Jones wants a rematch, and he'll probably get one at some point.
John's down on the field right now with Coach Ellerson.
Coach, you get the Gatorade bath. What are you feeling right now?
Oh, I'm so proud of this senior class. They've changed so much, and for them to get this win and to now to say we've brought winning football back, that's a great moment for Army football. It's a great moment for this senior class. They have earned their place in the pantheon of great Army football teams.
Coach, your father and your two brothers both played at West Point. What's that mean in terms of the family?
It means I better not screw it up.
I don't think he did. Beth?
Not today, John. Not today, as they get the bowl win here at Gerald J. Ford Stadium. Today's Capital One player of the game, Jared Hassan, over 1,000 yards rushing on the season, 82 of them coming today. As they score all of their 16 points in the first half, and then the big drive when they needed to have it to take care of the last 4 minutes and 5 seconds of the fourth quarter.
I'll tell you, Steven Anderson with 14 tackles and an interception, a close second on that deal, but you had to give it to Jared Hassan. He's the one that makes this offense go from that fullback position. He did a great job throughout the day. Very tough runner in between the tackles.
The triple option beats the run and shoot today in Dallas-Fort Worth, 16-14. The final, West Point a winner in a bowl game for the first time in 25 years. Coming up next on ESPN, the New Era Pinstripe Bowl with Kansas State taking on Syracuse. Make sure to check out continuing coverage of our game on ESPN News and ESPN3.com for today's trophy ceremony. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Ray Bentley and John Berger, I'm Beth Mowins. Now let's go to Wendy Nix back in the studio.
Beth, thank you very much. A beautiful day at Yankee Stadium, though New York continues to dig its way out from the blizzard of 2010. Under 15 minutes now and counting until kickoff. Kansas State and Syracuse in the inaugural Pinstripe Bowl at Yankee Stadium. I'm Wendy Nix, and so glad you could be here with us.